Good afternoon, there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the TEC Gauntlet Season 1 powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. I'm your host, Assassin47. Joining me on the desk is caster and analyst Floki and caster and analyst Aggressive. How are you guys doing? Starting with Floki.
Doing absolutely fine. I mean, I'm really hyped for today's match. It's going to be between INAZUMA and VALOR. And the best part about it is, like, the stakes are so high. I mean, these matches, they're going to determine a lot of things in these groups. So I think I'm just going to be stay glued to my seat for the entirety of this best of three.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're happy. Of course, it's your birthday, guys. Let's all wish Floki a very happy birthday. That's right. I mean, it's the birthday boy, and adulting is hard, right? I mean, you go ahead and work out. You go ahead and work on your birthdays as well. I mean, that's specific to what we do. We grown-ups do, huh?
Absolutely. No breaks for us. That's what you got to do to get the cheddar.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, no breaks for us whatsoever. But I'm pretty sure that after two exciting BO3s that are right in front of your screens right now, guys, I guess Floki is gonna have a lot of fun later at night as well. He's gonna party and chill. So, looking at today's matchups, right, we're gonna be seeing Team Valor versus INAZUMA that is gonna be happening in the first half. It's a very, very dicey affair, by the way. We are going to talk a lot about that as well. Whereas the second half of the day is going to be Team Fangs versus Team Enigma Gaming. Aggressive, what do you think about today's matchups and what are we to expect out of this?
Honestly, at this point, right at the very beginning stages, it's going to be Valor versus INAZUMA. And when you consider a team like this, they are constantly evolving. They're constantly trying different strategies, and they're constantly trying to bring something new down to the table and better themselves every single time. And whenever I look at Team Valor and, of course, Team INAZUMA, who have proven themselves over and over again to be one of the top dogs in our entire tournament, I'm really looking forward to seeing what both of these teams are going to be bringing down to the table, because initially this is the revenge story for the side of Team INAZUMA. Will they be able to take this win off of the side of Team Valor, get their revenge, or will the side of Team Valor be able to take down INAZUMA once again and take their position and head on down over into playoffs?
Through that, let's quickly jump on towards the MVP standings, by the way, as we are about to see any sorts of changes being made onto the MVP standings. Not that much. I mean, still we have got Deathmaker, SK, Rossi, Rafa, and Paradox. I guess the only change is going to be in terms of the stats as well. And yeah, surely. I mean, Force One Esports and Godlike Esports, they both had their games this specific week, and I guess they both improved their stats as well, Deathmaker and Rafa. But overall, Floki, what are your thoughts on the MVP standings?
pretty straightforward. It's what I would expect. I mean, probably the best teams over here in their respective groups. Godlike, SK Rossi, we've got Force One and True Rippers. I have to say, I mean, Valor is a team that is, somewhat new, you could say, but they've had a little bit more time to mesh now. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we started seeing Pixels or someone from their side up on the MVP standings anytime soon, because that team does have the potential to not only be top contenders, but in fact also dethrone some of the top teams over here. It's going to take a little bit of more time. It's going to take some more practice, but I think once they have it under their belt, them as players certainly have the potential to reach for that top spot. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see any of their players on the MVP standings. But yeah, with that said, I am hoping that we get to see Valor in a different form today, because the last time I had the pleasure of watching them and casting them, they seemed a little bit frustrated with their setups and the way they were playing in general. So I hope that they've ironed out those mistakes, and yeah, we're going to be seeing a team that doesn't really cut their corners.
I mean, we definitely hope that they have ironed out their mistakes because Team Valor, we know what sort of a potential they carry, and in my opinion, Valor they can easily be in the top four spot as well if they have their entire coordination and their synergy in as well. The problem is that there's a lot of shift being made as well in terms of their entire lineup. We see Strokey some days, we see Buster some days.
Yeah.
Just that entire rotation coming out from them, right, is sort of, I guess, hurting them as well. Not really sure what's up, but hopefully Valor are gonna get back in form as well and beat out INAZUMA. The same. We hope for INAZUMA as well. They can, go ahead and take down Valor. It's just going to be on how exactly both of these teams are going to strategize their moves as well. But let's move on towards the group standings. And now we're going to get onto the fun part. Because interestingly, the Group A standings is is looking so dicey. And it's like, Tempest, Valor, and Inazuma. They're Tempest sitting at the fourth spot with 7 points. Valor sitting at fifth spot with 6 points. Inazuma sitting at sixth spot with 5 points. Now, aggressive. I want you to go ahead and explain to our viewers what exactly I'm trying to say as well. I mean, Tempest, Valor, Inazuma. You know the narrative. Go ahead and take it over, buddy.
Now, the main thing that you guys need to consider here is that Tempest, they've already played their 7 matches. They have 7 points on the board, and they're pretty much set. They can do absolutely nothing about their standings anymore. But for the side of Team Valor, if they are able to take this win, they guarantee their number 4 position, and they're going to be heading on down over into playoffs. That is why I'm putting so much emphasis towards the side of Team Valor to try and take it all away. Primarily because if they're able to win this, they guarantee their position. But for the side of Team Inazuma, it's not as simple. If they're able to take this win under their belt, if they're able to take it down to a 2-0 or 2-1, they can at the bare minimum take it to that 7 position. But then what is the dilemma here, Assassin? You can already see there's going to be 3 teams who have 7 points on the board consistently throughout all of them. And at that stage, what's going to happen? It's going to be based upon round differences instead of who's going to be heading on down over into playoffs. So in my eyes, I'm really hoping to see maybe that 7-7-7 coming on down from all 3 of these teams, because at that stage, it's just a nail-biting moment because we have no idea who's going to be heading on down forward. Any of these 3 teams can go on down through. And honestly, I'm excited to see that dilemma, but at the same time, I feel as though Team Valor, they're going to bring their A game down to the table, and they're going to be gunning for that number 4 position.
True that. I mean, Inazuma, if they go ahead and win it out 2-1, then it is going to be that 7-7-7 on the board as well that we are talking about. Now, if that does happen, then it's great. I mean, we kind of expect to have it something like 6-6-6 as well, the devil's number, but it's completely fine. I mean, it's just me, hoping to see that number come up on the board as well. But anyways, let's just quickly head on towards the team intro coming out from the side of Team Valor and see what kind of a lineup are they packing today. Now, the thing is that Team Valor, as we did mention, right, they're a team that have got themselves a lot of firepower in the form of Buster, Strokey. We've got Pixels as well. Pixels is an amazing controller, by the way, and I love to see the astral play coming out from Pixels as well. So, what are your thoughts on Team Valor, Floki?
I really think that one player you should look out for is the game and Strokey. Pixels is the kind of guy who's consistent. His performance is stable. If the game and Strokey aren't having a good time, he's gonna step up for his team. So he's that kind of rock for the side of Team Valor. The issue is that they have been swapping out between Strokey and Hunter, and amongst their players, I don't know who sits out and who comes in. But like you mentioned earlier, I think that does really hurt the prospects of these teams and their chances as a unit. So I hope they stick to one consistent roster and we just see them time and time again, because the more experience they get as 5, the better they're going to get. And this is not like a team that doesn't really have individual star power. They all do. They all are really good players individually, mechanically. It's more about that team synergy and making sure that your team plays down and making sure that you overall as a team make better decisions than your opponents, because that's what the likes of global esports and godlike are all about. If you can just sort of make better decisions than them on a more team-based level, then you can beat them.
True that. Completely agree to you on that. I mean, team synergy and coordination is very important. And Team Valor, we know for a fact that they kind of are lacking in that department. Nowadays, I'm not really sure what's up. I guess all the player rotation is kind of hurting them as well. But hopefully today, that entire unit is going to be ready as well to take on the likes of INAZUMA. Let's quickly jump on towards the player spotlight coming out from the side of Team Valor, by the way. And we are going to be seeing who exactly is going to be the player going to be standing out, and it looks like that it is going to be the game, as Floki mentioned, the explosive jet player from the side of Team Valor. Too aggressive. What are your thoughts on the game, buddy?
The game is one of those players that can be very consistent or very inconsistent at the same time. He has that one singular problem that when he's explosive, he can take over the entire server, and then we're just going to be living in his own world. There is nothing that can stop this man, and he's going to tear through you no matter who you are on the opposition team. But when he's having much more of those slower starts and when he's not having the best of days, the game he cannot really step up and bring himself back. It all really depends on his early game. If his early game is really good, if he's able to pop off right at the very beginning, he's going to dominate the entire server and he is going to be taking the entirety of Valor on his back and he's going to keep on pushing them forward no matter what happens throughout the entire game. So I'm really hoping that the game is going to be able to bring his A game. He's going to have a really good start right at the very beginning. Otherwise, Team Valor, they're going to be in a lot of trouble going up against the side of Team INAZUMA, who have showed that as more time passes, they come together stronger. They've came together stronger as a team, and they have brought that level of consistency that they need to put themselves in the top spots and a top contender in this entire tournament.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that the game is going to be able to bring in the game that we are looking forward to as
Mhm.
well from the side of Team Valor. But yeah, now let's just quickly jump on towards the team intro coming out from the side of Team Inazuma and figure out what their player lineup is looking like. Because we know for a fact that Team Inazuma are a team that did not have the best of the start, but they always were kind of consistent in terms of the fragging department and also making some interesting plays. Now we know the reason for that as well. Nagzera, Omkar, SK Val, fired up. All of these players, they are, teammates from a long time and they have got past experience in the FPS genre as well. So, Floki, what are your thoughts on Team Inazuma?
I think these guys definitely have a lot of potential to go far. The issue that I see with them is that every single time they tend to make small individual mistakes, and that ends up that just ends up costing them the round and sometimes even the game. So I think for them it's a lot about just being able to polish some of those, because I feel like when we talk about team synergy and the ability to play off of each other, Inazuma are actually not that bad. I think they're slightly better in that teamwork department compared to Valor. But where they sort of lack is that sort of individual firepower that each player brings. The fired up and SQL do fill that role from time to time, but I do want to see all their players step up really and have that consistency. Like how in Valor you can say that Pixels is always going to be there to be relied upon when his team needs him to frag. You sort of need that kind of a rock on Inazuma.
True that. I mean, Inazuma, they definitely have players who make some interesting plays, and these small little decisions they actually impact. They actually create a lot of impact as well in their specific match as well. Let's move on towards the player spotlight coming out from the side of Team Inazuma, and I want to ask you this, aggressive. What exactly do you think about the player from the side of Team Inazuma with the name of Nagzera?
Like, this guy doesn't really need any form of introduction. I personally think that when it comes down to his Sentinel plays, he is an absolute driving force for his team. He's like that anchor who can always bring down, at the bare minimum, of one player. He's not as flashy as players like Batman, who can consistently just go down through the entire map and go in for those sneaky flanks and get like over three multi kills and possibly get an ace every single time. Nightser is not like that. He's much more, let's say, quiet in the way he approaches a lot of these fights. You all know he's on that server, but he's actually making an impact using his raw utility and, of course, bringing down multiple different people when he's anchoring down over onto a side. He's just consistent. When it comes to being an anchor, he's not as flashy. And I'm really hoping that Nizer is going to be able to bring that level of consistency and take it one step further, even because when he is having a good day, Nightzera can just tear through pretty much everyone on the server.
Definitely. Nagzera, the guy is an entire unit altogether. I mean, I say this because I know Nagzar from quite some time now, and some interesting shots being called as well from Nagzar as well over the course of time. He has always led the team to victory. Now we are hoping for him to do the same as well in Valorant. We are hoping for him to go ahead and lead INAZUMA to that fifth position as well, dethrone Team Valor from that position that they're holding on to. So, anyways, with the team intros and the player spotlights out of the way, let's quickly jump into was the map veto, because I know for a fact that you guys are excited for this, because the map veto is where we are going to be seeing where exactly the battlefield is going to be. And it's going to
Oh,
be Haven, Bind, and
Okay.
Ascent. Interesting picks, aren't they? I mean, Team Valor, they picking up Haven. I'm not surprised. I mean, Valor, they love to play the map of Haven, and so does INAZUMA, by the way. So, yeah, this might just go the distance, gents. What do you think?
I agree. I think this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aggressive, but if you were watching yesterday's match, wasn't the map veto kind of similar? I do remember Haven being the first map and Bind being the second one between ROG and Kuchbi. I think the only difference this time
Actually,
is that
yeah, Ascent. No, hold on a second. Yeah, Ascent was also
Ascent
the
wasn't there. I
decider.
think Ascent was the decider. I think Split was the decider, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I
It
guess this was split. Yeah.
Yeah, so gonna be interesting to see how that pans out. Usually you see Ascent being in those first two maps that are played out, but it seems that as the tournament has progressed, teams are starting to favor Bind and Haven a little bit more. Perhaps they feel that Ascent is one of those maps where the better teams are just really polished and really worked so hard that it's kind of fruitless to pick Ascent and waste a pick like that, because even though you might have played that map very often, the enemy team is just going to be a lot better than you. So
Yep.
it's a lot better to just take your chances with other maps.
To be on, like, completely honest, right? I guess seeing Haven in there, I'm not surprised, because Inazuma every single time in a best of three, I've noticed this. They tend to put Haven in there as well as their first map or the second map to play. So Haven is always there in Inazuma's map pool, and this is one of the maps that they absolutely love to play, and they conquer their victory as well on the specific map. So let's hope that Team Valor are going to be ready to face off against Team Inazuma in that specific map. Aggressive, what are your thoughts on the map, Vito?
When I looked at the first initial map video, I was like, this is really interesting because just as Floki mentioned, a lot of teams are now shying away from Ascent as their first initial pickup, because normally whenever we think of a best of three between the much more of those lower position teams, they always bring up Ascent at the very beginning because they want that strong start. They want to showcase what they can really do, because Ascent is one of those textbook Valorant maps that you can always rely on to have a lot of different strategies and have that level of map control on your arsenal, which is a lot more simpler to do in comparison to maps such as Haven or Bind. And now that a lot more of these teams are shying away from Ascent and now picking up Haven, the level of strategy and the level of difference between the way the teams are going to be playing is going to be a lot more massive. It's going to be a lot more pronounced. And at this stage, with all of the teams now having a lot more time to build themselves up, come even stronger as a team, Haven is like the perfect battleground for both of these teams. Primarily because Valor, they showed a lot of problems when it came down to team consistency and, of course, coming together much more as a complete unit. And the same problem was being shown by the side of Team Inazuma as well. They've both grown over time here on this gauntlet. So Haven is the best place to start everything off and showcase what they've learned throughout this entire series, and now take it down on that server and just bring their A game down on the map. So map number one is going to be a really close showing in my eyes. This could easily go down into overtime before we head on down over onto Bind.
Well, really good deep insights coming out from Aggressive as well. And I guess we definitely are going to be expecting fireworks on all three of these maps. Let's hope that this goes the distance, and let's hope that Inazuma are going to be able to make it 777 on the board as well, because we would all love to see that. But jokes aside, guys, to be completely honest, we are expecting both of these teams to just perform their absolute best, and we just hope that the best team win. So looking forward to that as well. With that, we come to an end of our pre-match analysis, and we're going to be jumping straight into the game and the caster's desk as well after a short break and message from our sponsors. But before I go, I'd like to give out a huge shout out to our sponsors, WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon, for making the TEC Gauntlet possible. Please check out the links down in the description below. Check out all the amazing deals that WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon have got in store for you for your next big upgrade. You guys are watching the TEC Gauntlet Season 1 powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. We're going to be right back with the caster's desk. The casters for the day are Floki and Aggressive.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. As we are back here on the caster desk, we made a fast run from the analyst desk over here with my boy Floki on the side, and we are really excited to bring you this intense matchup of Team VALOR going up against the side of Team INAZUMA. Will they be able to shine brighter than lightning, or will it be the side of Team VALOR showing their valor and bringing it all back down onto their end? And let's head on down over onto the agent select screen this time around, because you can already see on the map of Haven in particular, Floki, the picks coming on down through seems a lot more different than we would have expected.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a bit of a Valor classic. They always love to pick up that Astra, and Hunter, much like his name suggests, is always going to be playing that Sova. So nothing that's too surprising for the side of Valor, but on the side of INAZUMA, I did think I see a raise there, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. I'm not sure if there was the Raze or if it was the Reyna. I think it was one of those two. The Reyna makes a fair bit more sense compared to the Raze, in my opinion. I feel like Haven is not really the map where you want to be having that Raze. I think you're much better off getting something like a Phoenix or a Reyna. Just have someone who can hold down and who can delay those pushes and just make sure that you have the ability to hold on to sites, because rotations take forever on Haven, right? So you kind of want agents that allow you to delay that a little bit and allow you to stay alive, either of those. And I think Reyna and Phoenix fall right in that alley. So it is the Reyna at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But starting out on offense, I feel like maybe they should have gone for Phoenix instead of that Reyna. I don't know. What do you think, Aggressive?
For me personally, SK Wow, he's one of those players that whenever I see him, he's like, just let this man play anything that he wants. He's gonna frag off and he's gonna pop off no matter what happens. He just needs a gun in his hand and he is just gonna pop those heads every single time. So in my eyes, having the Reyna on his side is not really the worst of things. He's going to be able to do a lot down in the long run. So let's just see what we can expect coming on down from the side of Team VALOR, because now with the first initial push coming on down through the gate, he couldn't get the plant down, and it feels as though one smoke missing is all that they needed to bring it all back down onto their favor. But now the spike is in no man's land. They cannot get this spike whatsoever, and the entirety of Team VALOR, they're all starting off on the back foot, and they need to play it slow and they need to play it smart, because that spike, it's gonna be really hard to defeat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's dropped in the middle of B. There's no way on earth that the side of VL can recover it, but I like the move that they're making. So they actually sent that Cypher towards that shot. They were able to spot out one play, take him out, sort of give them the man advantage. Now the only sad thing is, because the spikes drop, they're not really rotating. They're like, you know what, we're just gonna hold our crossfires and wait for the push to come, and then yeah, we'll see what we can do over here. And Buster preparing with that flash. There's no flash right now, but he's still gonna be able to find the kill. But Nightmare is gonna be there. Gone. That crossfire just working wonders here for the side of INAZUMA.
That was absolutely beautiful, setting up that crossfire, getting it all down into a 2 versus 4 situation like that in a snap of a finger. Nicer, he's just popping heads with this a little bit of a weird crosshair. I don't know, Floki, at this stage I'm really confused. All of these pro players are having the weirdest of crosshairs.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I've seen dots, I've seen circles, I have seen things that look like you're on the insides of I don't know, huge transformer or something of that sort. It doesn't make much sense to me, but anyway, this let's focus on that a little bit later. For now, seeing that the side of VALOR are just walking up B like it's nobody's business, and they have a lot of mid control for now. Could just hold it out here, look to maybe go towards Garage, but the game somehow is going to find SK. Well, it's a very important player being taken off. The tripwire is also going to be destroyed, and the backup is coming in towards Garage. You can see Omkar making his way there. Now it's only Nines around the side. He's going to have to do this all by himself, but they're in fact not taking the fight, using the Cypher cages to get the plant instead. Nines going to get in a good position, and he's going to find 2 to start things off. Elsewhere, Omkar did end up falling, but it's still a 2v3, so it's not an easy one for the side of VALOR. But just might be able to do it if they could land that first shot, but nope, they can't really do that. And there you go. INAZUMA once again going to put another round on board. All thanks to Nightzera.
Yeah, Nightzera, I always say this, he's not as flashy as you will always consider players such as Batman or maybe Lightning Fast, but when he is in his element, when he is in the C side or the A side, and he has his tripwires and his utility set up properly, he is gonna tear you down no matter what kind of a push you do. And that's exactly what Nightzera did. He played it slow, he played it smart, understood that, hey, let the plan go on through completely. And as it is an eco round from the side of the attackers, they're going to be playing in a lot more of those closer ranges. And he was able to catch the game off guard and immediately get another pop-off kill down on the Tchaikovsky to take him on down. And with that, they're going to be able to stabilize. They're going to be able to take a really convincing 2-0 scoreline down onto their favor. But at the same time, Team Valor, they're going to be facing off on their own first buy round, and this initial buy round is where the entire pace of this matchup will be started on down through. And the game, he's squaring off against SK Wow. Maybe he's gonna be able to get this kill, or maybe his head is gonna get popped clean off his shoulders, because SK Wow, he's looking to get that first initial headshot down almost immediately.
Absolutely. I think SK Wow has had a bit of a rough first 2 rounds. I think he got Sheriff 1 tap in the previous one, so probably not going to be feeling too good about that. But VALOR actually managed to make their way all towards Garage. You know, spot out that Tripwire, take it out. The Cypher Cage is going to come through. I like what Buster did there. He actually touched that case twice, and there you go, SK Wow. Once again, just getting eliminated by Buster, showing what years and years of experience brings you. It doesn't matter how good your aim is, that experience is all that really counts. And now that recon, that's going to reveal everyone on that side. And Buster looking to go ham, is going to get some help from the game. Pixels on the side by finding fired up, and there you go, Pixels just shutting down everyone on the lurk there as a flawless round here for the side of VALOR. They couldn't have answered back any harder.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful there, Floki. Just tell me honestly, shots were clean. Buster, he just doesn't miss his shots. We know how good he is when it comes down to his raw aim. And when it comes down to his side entries, he was able to take down SK Wall and then get an immediate further kill with the help of Hunter using his own recon bolts. Beautifully done from the side of Team VALOR to take away as much control as they possibly can all over the site and also over on the angle of Garage. They were not giving a single inch away towards the side of Team INAZUMA, and this is really important. Whenever you have the most map control on the map of Haven in particular, you're always going to be the team who has that advantage. You're always going to be the team who's going to be able to take them all down no matter what happens. And with this first initial push now going on down through, it's going to be the runner back being popped from the side of Buster. Flashes going to left, flashes going to right. Shots are going to be raining on down in, but SK Wow, he's still going to be able to survive. But the recon ball coming on down from the side of Hunter, it's just too good. Night Seraph, he has nowhere to run, he has nowhere to hide. And the entirety of the side is now under the control of the side of the attackers. But at the same time, fired up, he actually pulled out an operator, which I thought would have been an eco round coming on down through from the side of the defenders.
Yep. I mean, I'm very surprised by this operator pick. And look at Hunter just shutting down every single player on the side of INAZUMA as he gets 3. Pixel chimes in with a classic to get SK Wow, and that's the operator being denied. A big loss here for INAZUMA. I'm not too sure what they're going to do in this round. I hope they have Jet Knives to work with, or at least 1 point away from it, because, yeah, I mean, that was a very weird decision to get that operator in a round where everyone else wasn't really buying.
Yeah, at this stage, like that buy round coming on down through from the side of the defenders, it's a little bit questionable, but at the same time, I kind of understood what they were trying to do. They wanted Fired Up to pick up that operator, go in for that first initial frag, and maybe if they pushed Fired Up right at the very beginning, his operator would have gotten a lot of value. But instead, with the push coming on down over towards the C side, it was just a complete bamboozle from the side of Team VALOR. They were able to be the ones who had the advantage. They were able to be the ones who had that first initial pickoff, and Fired Up's operator really didn't have the value coming out of that. But at the same time, it feels as though that shock dart, it's just gonna hurt a tiny little bit, because at this stage, the position's no longer being revealed. It's going to be an empty A side coming on down through from the side of the defenders. I understand they want to try and play this for that retake, but this retake is not going to be easy because they don't have the gun advantage and they have no information whatsoever down onto their sides.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be all down to Fired Up, who has a knife in his hands. He's the only one with the potential to kill these players. And look at Pixels. He's spotted out Cone. He's waiting for the sword to take the peak. He actually does hit the headshot through that boot, takes that sword down very, very low, but Fired Up actually cleans him up. Oh, Fired Up is gonna find another kill. The game is gonna be able to answer back. Gets 3 to his name. And now Fired Up inside the smoke, trying to find the kill. With the classic, he's gonna do a lot of them. Pulls out the knife. But towards the end, he's not really able to get the kill. I mean, he had the Jet alt knives up and he took his own knife out to try and get the kill. And somewhere in the midst of all that, I do remember Cone dying to fall damage.
We don't talk about that, Floki. Even I saw that. I was like, hey, maybe if the viewers didn't see it, Cone doesn't need to, like, you know, notice any of that.
I don't really
plays,
blame him.
Yeah, you can't even blame it. Like, it was just a fast rush. The adrenaline was pumping. The calls were coming on down through. Everyone was like, go, go, go. We need to jump down. We need to get those kills. And at that stage, Cone, he couldn't take much more of the easier route, jumping down on the box and then jumping on down forwards. That's going to hurt just a tiny little bit, moving on down offline. But at the same time, look at the game, though.
Oh, no.
The game you have to consider this guy when he has started everything up. It's just too much work to try and stop him. The game, shots are too clean, shots are just too good, and he is just tearing through the entire server. I was talking about this in the analyst desk. I'm gonna put my feet on the desk and I'm gonna lean back because the game is activated, baby, and he's just gonna tear through everyone from the side of Team INAZUMA.
Oh my goodness. An agent that has no flashes, nothing to work with, nothing that remotely gives you an advantage in case of a gunfight, except when you're on defense. Somehow, finding that Reyna and the opponent jet to start things through. That's about as good of a round as it gets. And look at the position of the game. He might even be able to catch Cone off guard, but Cone seems to be aware of the possibility. But is he going to be aware that Buster's coming in here as well? Ooh, that's a weird positioning by Buster. Buster's actually going to play towards Gong instead, look to cut them off, and the game is going to find third. I mean, this man has single-handedly carried his team through this spy round. And Omkar looking to pull it back. He's going to get 2 kills. Buster and the game being taken out.
Omkar, this guy, he's been activated, it seems. And now, moving on down over into this 3 versus 2 situation, it all really does depend on Nixer. If he's able to get this kill down onto Saikovsky, he's going to be able to take it down to a 2 versus 2, but he's not going to be able to find it instead. It's just Omkar trying to go down against the world. He can't really do much. Pixel spots out the gun barrel and slaps a bullet into his skull to take him on down out. And with that, it's 2 and 4 on the scorecards and a really costly round for the side of the defenders as well, primarily because of one thing. Now, they're being forced onto an eco, and it's like a semi-buy in a way because they are going to be opting to go in for sheriffs and half shields, but still, they're at a massive disadvantage when it comes down to the guns. And when it comes down to the rounds as well, going on down 3 rounds, if they lose out on this round in particular, it's gonna hurt a lot moving on down 4.
Absolutely. I feel like one of the more important things for the side of INAZUMA has just been, being able to activate that Cypher. Now, Nigel did do very, very well in those first few rounds, but since then, he really just has been awful quiet, and that's because the game has been just shutting down every single player wherever he goes. Maybe this time around, something different can happen. I do see a Spectre in the hands of the Reyna. So SK Wow is looking to deal a fair bit of damage, but Buster, the flash, is going to get everyone on the back side. Well, not Omkar apparently. Buster's going to keep going forward. Can he find the Reyna? No, he cannot. SK Wow is going to find that kill and be able to get the Empress of upgrade to that Vandal. And he's looking to shove this round down by himself. He's going to find Saikovsky as well. That's the Cypher being taken out here. And all of a sudden, the side of VALOR find themselves in a hard-to-win 3v5 with Pixel surviving on 1 HP. Sure, they can get the plant down on C, but yeah, the rotation's already through.
Manixera, he's actually going to be able to survive, but he's not going to be able to take down a 1 HP Pixel. The way that Pixel was just jiggling all over the map, it's just not going to be helping out though, because instead it's going to be Code being able to survive and get another kill for himself. The game actually gets 1 kill, but Code with an immediate flex shot with his own Hunter's Fury is going to be able to take down 1 more, and now it's going to be the Hunter coming on down through. He has his own Hunter's Fury, but will the Hunter be able to hunt the hunted is the real question, because he could be the one in for World of Hurt, but at the same time, the gun advantage is still in his own favor because Omkar doesn't really have his own gun down in his hand. Hunter knows exactly where the last 2 members are going to be at, but his position has already been revealed as well. And Hunter, he can play it slow, he can play it smart. He has his own Hunter's Fury, he pops his own Hunter's Fury. The Hunter is now going to start the hunt. Will he be able to run away is the real question. Omkar's going to be jiggling left, Omkar's going to be jiggling in right, and Hunter, he was expecting a push to come on down through from the side of the defenders, but they know for a fact that they don't need to go in for a push. They just need to play it slow, they just need to play it smart. And the Cone spots out his own twin brother, and he's gonna be able to take him on down out almost immediately. And this thrifty round coming on down through for the side of the defenders will be so crucial here, Floki, because now not only are they able to stabilize, they're gonna be able to go down over in the following round with a lot more confidence.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest reasons why the side of INAZUMA were able to win that round is just SK Wow being SK Wow. You know, he's sitting there like a trap card. He's just waiting to be activated, and there you go. As soon as he gets the Empress, has a Spectre up and running. As soon as he found that first pick, that round, it got a lot harder for the side of VALOR here. And you can see that them just, losing so many players early on, Pixels almost being as good as dead. It meant that even a very, very weak INAZUMA were able to take that round despite them only having sheriffs and stuff. Well, the game this time around is able to take out that Leo, but dash forward, somehow survives with Pixels. Is going to be able to find Nixer. Wait a second, that's the check time. That's the weird angle. Yeah, it's a very good wall here. Oh, but those short darts are even better. They're going to be able to tag down Pixels once again. And Gold is going to be forced over this position. The hot hands burns.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Pixels is also gonna find him, and yeah, I think this round is pretty much done and dusted here for the side of INAZUMA, unless Omkar can do something about it.
We don't want to give the caster shirts on towards the side of Team Valor, otherwise they're gonna send us a lot of angry messages on our Instagrams. But at the same time, like, how do you win out on this round? It's nearly impossible for the side of Team INAZUMA to even enter down into the side. They have no information. They have absolutely no utility down on their end as well. Omkar, he did have the paranoia, but he wants to save it down for the next round. He does not have any money to work with almost whatsoever. So this is a really smart play coming on down through from the side of the defenders. They're playing it slow, they're playing it smart, and with Fired Up still having an operator in his hand, this round and its loss, it's just not gonna hurt as much down in the long run, primarily because you have enough eco. You can go down for another buy round with Nightsera, I think, being the only one not being able to go in for a proper buy, so he's gonna be forced down onto a Spectre. But in the long run, it's going to be a proper buy coming on down through from the side of Team INAZUMA. And with another buy round now going on down through, it's going to be really good for their end moving on down forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, I mean, this is as about as good as it gets. They tried to save those two rifles. They were successful. And now they are going to have a buy where they have, not the best weaponry in the world, but they can work with this. But the game is once again just shutting everyone down and Fired Up once again struggling to make that operator work. Monster's going to flash and take him out. As Fired Up, nothing he can do in that situation. The game, he's gone forward, he's got that pick, he's done his job, and with that Cypher as well, they don't know exactly where everyone is. But SK, wow, and Omkar shutting this push down here from the side of Ala, and it's only left us alive. He is also going to be taken out as SK, wow, finally is going to be activated like you mentioned, and just covered up for Fired Up as well.
Yeah, a little bit of too much of an aggressive push coming down through from the side of Team Valor. It felt as though they had the information, they got the first two picks. Why you're trying to over-aggress down towards that A side? Because you know for a fact that the game has lost side control. There is no way your team can push on down through from one single angle and then take everyone out. Because all the members from the side of Team Valor, they pushed on down through from the side of A short instead of going down from the side of A long as well. That just put the nail on the coffin, and there is absolutely nothing that the side of the attackers could have done to try and take side control from there. And the defenders, they were just piling on down through. They have side control once again. And down in a 3 versus X scenario, even when you're rushing down onto a side, you have no way of winning that unless you hit every single headshot. And that's exactly what happened. But this time around, it's going to be Team Valor making that push happen once more down towards that A side. But this time around, with the run it back coming on down through coming from the side of Buster, and Buster, he does get a little bit of information at the very least, and he's gonna be able to keep his shields. So in the long run, this is a really good plan coming on down through from the side of Team Valor as they move on down over onto a 5 versus 5 post plan scenario.
Absolutely, SQ also has the Empress hand ready, and Code being forced out of his position with those shock downs just dropping so low. But SK, wow, Snipe be activated once again. Let's see if he can actually go forward and find those kills. Last time around he had the Empress, he did a lot of work. This time around, his team is counting on him, and he's going to be delivering. He's going to find Psykowski, take his head down, and find the game as well. But Pixel's answering back. One's going to be able to find Hunter, and even 2v2. But Buster's going to try to pull it back. Won't find it. Pixels shuts him down with a classic. A flurry of kills being traded back and forth, but Valor come out on top. And once again, Pixels being the rock for his team when needed.
Need a drop.
You know the main problem here though, Floki? A lot of the rounds are being won out by the side of Team INAZUMA, but in the long run, they're not able to win out all of their rounds consecutively and in a much more of that consistent fashion. And you can already see when it comes down to terms of their eco, they're hurting so much. Team Valor, yes, they were able to win out on a lot of their rounds. Yes, they lost out on a lot of their rounds as well. But why do they have a lot of eco right now? That's primarily because of one very important thing. They were able to win out on their rounds very consistently. They were able to be a lot more proficient in the way they won out on a lot of their rounds, giving them the best chance to hold on to their eco. And with this, even though it is a 4 and 6 score line, the massive
what?
side of the attackers, but that's talking about that. Omkar and SK, wow! What are you guys? Oh, what is exactly happening? Shots are going in left, shots are going in right, but SK wow just love taps Hunter down onto 7 HP, and Omkar comes on down with a vandal with a triple kill to boot to end everything off. And honestly, Floki, at this point, this is just caster's curse. I was like, yeah, Team Valor, they have a lot of advantages. They can easily take away this round. Omkar and SK wow is like aggressive. Sit the hell down, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I can do with just an 800 credit pistol in my hand.
I mean, if I could describe the side of INAZUMA in an expression, it would be Rain Man. Because these guys are complete savants. When it comes to buy rounds, they just are unable to win. The best weaponry in the world, they have all the shields to work with, all the utility to fall back on. No, they thrive on being deprived. When they get their shares, they actually get those headshots up, and now they actually got buy going into this round. So yeah, I mean, the side of INAZUMA really managed to keep things interesting, but if history has taught me anything, it's that INAZUMA, when it comes to their buy rounds, they aren't really able to pull those through. And once again, it's going to be down to Buster entering with the flash. You can see that wall is just so perfect for them. They should be able to just isolate these fights one after the other, and the game is even going to go forward, try to push his luck a little bit. I think he knows that the Reyna is going to be there. And SKR throws the lead down, but the game has his covered. Oh man, the game is watching out for his teammates. Gone's going to be able to take him down, but still, it's going to be a 4v3 aggressive. This is not looking good here for INAZUMA.
Excels the fact that he has only 6 bullets in his arsenal. That's gonna hurt quite a lot, and Code's gonna be the one to clear that corner out. Hunter comes in on his own Hunter Fury. He's gonna be able to hunt the Hunter, and he's gonna be able to hunt this second target as well. Taking down Fired Up. Beautifully done, ladies and gentlemen, from the side of Team VALOR. Just tearing through the entire site systematically, one by one. And I really like that play coming on down through from the side of Tchaikovsky and Buster. They went down together over the angle of Garage and made that push happen. They didn't go solo, and this was really smart. You should always remember that whenever you're pushing down over on that angle of Garage, you never take it alone. If you want to have a teammate, if you want to be the safest possible, then just push it down together. Have that 2-man. Always play for those trades, and that's exactly what the side of Team VALOR did, giving them the best possible advantage as they were making that push happen, as they were going in for that flank down over onto that B side, pincering all of the defenders from 2 angles. And with that, they were easily able to take that round away and get that 7th round on the board in their favor as they move on down over onto the next half of this match.
Yeah, and you can see that already INAZUMA borrowing a page from the Book of Valor. They're going to be heading down straight towards B to find that initial plant, and Fired Up is not even going to try to clear the site. He's straight up going to plant. Pixels might actually start for a couple of kills here, and look at that, he's actually just able to spot them out. Even though he doesn't find kills, he's going to be able to trade them out, and all of a sudden, you can see the side of Valor. I mean, they're just shutting down every single player from INAZUMA as the game pushes on forward towards A. Now Buster's going to flash on Garage, get another kill, and it's all going to be down to Nigel, but he's the 1v3. This is impossible for him. And I'm not too sure what INAZUMA were thinking, but they just choose not to clear the site and straight up go for the plant, get instantly punished by VALOR.
Yeah, the push coming on down from the side of SK, wow, a little bit questionable to say the very least, because he didn't need to go in for that push. Because even if Fired Up died, at least he got that spike plan. And that's what they were playing for. This is such a risky strategy whenever you go in for such a high-risk push that, yeah, sometimes the player who's planning the spike is not going to survive, but if you get that spike plan down, that's all that you're asking for. You're taking that risk, and you're going to get the reward by losing out at the bare minimum of 1 player, or maybe, hey, Fired Up could have gotten on down out with his own dash. The execution was just not there. They were trying to replicate the push coming on down through from the side of Team VALOR that happened in round number 1, but that push, yeah, the replication was just not as potent as the side of Team VALOR's was initially.
Absolutely. I think one of the bigger problems was that SKR actually went out to help the Chet, and then they both had this moment of confusion where they're like, okay, are we trying to push over here? We've already planted the spike. What are we doing? And in that sense of confusion, they just got struck down by VALOR. And already you can see that they tried to push up towards C Garage, and
Excels is like, help me, the sun.
My eyes!
My eyes!
Well, a little unfortunate, but look at Mike, sir. He's still holding this area down, and Fired Up is pushed all the way towards B. Now, if they're able to get on site, they might be able to catch them off guard, but the game, yeah, his angles are just absolutely nutty. He's going to be able to find a second kill, still has the dash to fall back, and he's going to do that, but he's going to go ahead and peek out once again. Oh, he wants to wait. Give it to him. No, Pixel says, no, keep your ego in check, buddy. We need you for the future rounds.
Yep. Honestly, the game is just playing the game. And remember what I said down at the analyst says? When he has a really good start right at the very beginning, he's gonna tear through the entire server, and there is not a single person in this world that can stop him. And that's what the game is showing us. he is just ready to take those fights. He's ready to take those angles, and he's just playing so aggressively as well. Tell me, which Jet will have the type of nerves that he has to just hold down an angle like that and keep on going for peaks every single time? No one else can do that other than the game and of course SK Rossi, but we call him 4K Rossi for a reason because he sometimes does get a little bit too overzealous whenever he's holding down those angles, but the game, he's kind of down on that same mode. A little bit too much over-aggression coming on down from him could just cost his entire team the entire map and this entire map a little, if he's not too careful, that is.
This time around, SK Wow is going to be playing that initial contact, and you can see he's already quite low on HP. He's going to need to be playing second fiddle. Hopefully, if he can get that damage onto an enemy, he can suck and get that life back and be useful to his team again, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. And this is what I like about VALOR. Look at this force buy round. This is something they've done time and time again. Buster is up all the way towards C main. This is not the kind of stuff you expect. He knows there's a tripwire there, but he realizes there's no reason for him to push. It's much better playing that off angle, and there you go. That's him finding that pickup that was needed, and he's going to keep pushing.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, the trade comes through from Fired Up, but elsewhere, Saikovsky and I think Hunter were able to chime in with kills of their own. It's just two players remaining, Fired Up and the Cypher here. Well, they're going to be able to find one kill, and Saikovsky is going to shut down Fired Up, and Nightzero is also going to be found. I mean, VALOR, they're just making this look so easy.
Let's look at Team VALOR and look at the level of map control that they have all over the map. It is going to be the game, pushing them aggressively down towards the side of A-Long, getting himself onto the position of crates, and he's holding there. Buster's on the other side over towards the side of C-Long, and he has complete C-Long control. And on the other end towards the side of Garage, yes, they don't have control. Yes, they're on the other side of that smoke, but it is two people holding the angle of Garage. So Saikovsky and Hunter, they can just jump down together from that angle of Garage and kill those two players as soon as that tripwire goes on down or that smoke dissipates, because you need to be a lot more faster and a lot more decisive when it comes down to a lot of your pushes, and the fact that the decisiveness is just not there from the side of Team INAZUMA, that's gonna hurt a lot. But at the same time, the game gets one kill, but SK Wall's like, what did you say to my teammate? I'm gonna slap you down with my own sheriff, and with that, they're going to be able to take the entire map under their control. But this time around, it's going to be Pixels getting that first initial kill down on the fire dot. But look at Omkar's positioning. He's actually deep down inside of the C-side. And this C-side control could be what they need to try and take this round onto their board. But at the same time, Saikovsky, he's like that literal anchor for the team. He's going to be able to get that kill down on the SK while Pixels gets another one. And Omkar, he's on his lonesome, maybe getting one kill. He's not going to be able to find it. His position is now known, and he's now being hunted by 4 angry members from the side of Team VALOR.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one for him. Maybe he can find one kill, but he's going to be spammed through that wall. Ends up being taken down. Unfortunately, a little bit lack of patience here from the side of INAZUMA. Omkar was on a great flank. In those kind of situations, it might make sense to just bait the enemy team, and instead of just, you know, going all out and being like, okay, we take this fight here and now. If we win, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. But look at this. I mean, Omkar is in such a great place, but everyone else is looking to push forward instead of playing in the safer positions here, or rather playing off with Omkar. In that kind of situation, maybe you know, Nightzero could have also pushed up Garage, set Omkar up for a trade kill, and, you know, possibly just catch them off guard. At least get that spike down. But yeah, I mean, INAZUMA just feeling the pressure a bit too much, not really thinking very clearly, and I think they know that themselves. Hopefully, they can turn this round around and bring back some of their sanity, but it's going to be all in SK Wow's hands, because he's going to be playing that initial contact. The flash is going to come through, and there you go. They are going to be able to get on site as they sprawl in, but the question is, can they get the plant down and play post-plant? Because the post-plant on C can be a little bit difficult if you don't really have all that map control. They're going to get squeezed from multiple directions here, but Nightzero is... Look, Buster! Oh, no. Yep, that looks like it should be the round into the side of Pixels, but not much VALOR can do. Fight Up's gonna find another. Saikovsky Pixels actually chimed in. It's all down to Pixels. Aim against the world. 2 more kills remaining. Aggressive might be able to do this.
Oh, Pixels. Honestly, at this point, Pixels needs to be that one person that you always want in these type of situations. The wall does go through as well, and there is no way that Code is going to be able to get this kill. Shots are going to be coming on in. Code's going to be going in for that swing. And at the very end of it all, it is going to be Code being able to go in for that clutch and get that operator back for his own teammate fired up. And they're going to be able to survive for just a little while longer. The match point still has not yet gone on through for the side of Team VALOR yet, ladies and gentlemen. The side of Team INAZUMA, They're still trying to shine as bright as they can. Maybe bring it on back to that even Steven scoreline, because Floki, we always talk about this. We need to try and fight for that 11th round on the board. You can never give away the 12th round, because as soon as that match point goes on through, as soon as the announcer says match point, that's when you're going to be feeling a lot of pressure, and that's the moment you need to step up massively.
Absolutely. I mean, every single round becomes a forced round in that kind of a situation. And the game, you can see he's trying his best to find that opening pick, but extremely defensive play here from the side of VALOR. They actually smoke out that position I'd say in favor of Team INAZUMA there, because they definitely know that someone is pushed up towards A main, and they're probably not going to be playing that angle as aggressively. Buster has done a good job of keeping the side of INAZUMA paranoid, because you can see now they're checking every single angle. They're being a lot more cautious. So he's shaving those seconds off the clock, and that's kind of all you really need to do as defenders. I mean, most people don't think about it, but if you overuse that aggressiveness, then you are going to start getting caught out and being read like a book. This time all those two flashes come through. Buster is just going to use it to change his position. Oh no, that recon is going to reveal him. Yeah, but he might cast a wild card with his timing. Can he do so? No, SKWow is going to find that first pick, and there you go. Oldcard and Cold chime in, but Hunter, now SKWow, Fight Up is going to find the return kill though, and now it's all down to the game.
Yeah, at this stage, the game, yeah, he's been tearing through the entire server, but even though he is on form, even though he can make the impossible possible, down in a 1 versus 4 situation, yeah, this is too much for him, even in this type of situation. Fired Up had his phone number, called him up, heard the ringtone, and was like, wait, the game's pushing on down from the side of defender side at spawn. I can easily go in for that shot. I have an operator in my hand, and doesn't matter if he's feeling himself to the point of no return, I still am going to be able to take him on down out. And with that, it is just going to be another round on the board for the side of Team INAZUMA, and they're going to be really happy, because now, when it comes down to the terms of eco, Team VALOR, they're going to be hurting massively. And in my eyes, the best possible plan as of right now would be for them to go in for a full-on eco and then get an operator onto the hands of the game. Because as soon as that operator goes on through, they will have an answer for Fired Up, who has just been tearing through the entire server because of his operator.
Oh yeah, oh no, the game, oh my god, okay, the game is activated. I mean, at this point, he's not logged in here with them, they logged in here with him. And yeah, this is just the beginning of the end here for the side of INAZUMA. They're winning around that they have no business winning, and somehow, despite losing their Cypher, they're still in a 3v2 situation. Fired Up, he has an operator in his hands, perhaps not the best weapon to have in this situation, but Omkar, with that ult from the shadows, is going to find the game, but still, two very healthy players on the side of VALOR to clutch things out.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt just a tiny little bit, moving on down forward, primarily because of one thing. Now, they don't have the game to try and go in for those aggressive peaks. They have no way of trying to maybe find that first initial pickup, but at the same time, look at Hunter's positioning. His positioning is already known, but Buster, he spots out Omkar, trying to go in for a little bit of a peek down towards the side of a... But here at the same time, Hunter is now hunting down his brain. Fired Up, and he's gonna be able to get that kill down on a 1 more. And Fired Up, he had no idea. He didn't know where to turn. He didn't know where to look. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, Team VALOR, they take the 11th round on the board and also the 12th as well. They take it all away. They're going to be able to take it down over onto match point on a thrifty round as well, Floki. Absolutely insane plays coming on down through from the side of Team VALOR. They deserve this match point. And now moving on down forward, the pressure is on for the side of Team INAZUMA.
Yeah, I mean... you know, I'm not sure if you've seen Watchmen, but there's a character in it called Rorschach, and there's a scene where he actually goes to prison and beats the crap out of every single criminal that he's put in there. That's what the game is doing to the side of INAZUMA. Time and time again, this man, he looks like he's been caught out, but in fact, he's just always baiting them in. He was able to find SKWow as well as Cone to start things off. And once again, Buster, gotta keep the enemy paranoid, gotta keep pushing up, Fired Up. Are you gonna fall in that false sense of security? Do you think Buster is playing that close angle or not? It's all down to a coin flip, and that's what you like to have on the defender's side. Nixara though, pushing forward for his team. It's actually gonna be SKWow now, but they're not gonna look to go ahead. Fired Up is gonna punish Buster for peeking out without that flash, and Buster might have just given them an opening over here. He's gonna be able to sprawl out onto towards the side. He's gonna be holding that angle, so maybe he can find Hunter, but no! Just at 5 HP, takes down Fired Up, and he's still going to be alive for that post plant.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt quite a lot because now it's gonna be Hunter pulling out the Hunter's Fury and hunting down Zera. He tried to jiggle left, he tried to jiggle right, he wanted to survive! The ultimate coming on down through from the side of the Soma, but there is nothing that you can do, especially when the Hunter is gonna be hunting you down. And now it's gonna be Cone trying to survive, maybe get a couple of kills for themselves, but Omkar, Cone, and SK, wow! They're able to get 3 kills down on their edge and just completely turn the round on top of its head. Shots are gonna be going on in, Pixels is gonna be good for 1. But now with his position already known, down in this 2 versus 1 situation, Floki, this is almost impossible. Pixels, he has no information. Will he be able to do it is a real question because all the information in the world and all of the utility is in the favor of the side of the attackers. And now, Team INAZUMA, they can easily take him down. No matter what happens, the crossfire is going to be beautiful. Cone's going to be good for 1 more for himself as well. That's going to be 8 and 12 on the scorecard. But Floki, this round, it started off in the favor of the side of Team VALOR, but with just 1 second, it just all turned on top of its head.
I mean, that was INAZUMA just all winning their individual gunfights, and that's what I've talked about time and time again. It's not that the team is not good in terms of the team synergy. That's actually what they've nailed down completely. I mean, they understand how to communicate, they understand how to talk to each other and play like a team, play like a unit. The only issue is that their strats may not look as good as some of the more other polished teams over yet. I think once they start working on that, Team VALOR are going to be in for a ride. But still, I mean, even as of now, these guys are putting up a fight. They're not saying die, they're never saying never. And every single time they have an opportunity, they take it and they try and make sure that they don't really fall into that loser's mentality to have that defeatist attitude and be like, guys, you know, it's the 12th round, let's just get this done with and play the next map. No, they in fact look at it as them still having a chance by going into overtime and winning that match. So I think that spirit's good, but they need to temper it with a little bit more practice and a little bit more skill. Because, yeah, if you just look over to the side of VALOR, not gonna lie, Hunter, Pixels, The Game, Buster, Psykovsky, even everyone has had a round that I can recall from the top of my head.
You have to give it to VALOR for having that individual performance. And you were talking about this down over the analyst desk as well, that always, and I mean always, the side of Team VALOR has that 1-star player who can consistently show up no matter what happens. But it feels as though for the side of Team INAZUMA, only SK WoW is their main star player who can consistently just bring their A game down to the table, consistently maybe change the flow of the entire matchup. But everyone else, they rely much more based upon team play and coordination. And the team play and coordination this time around for the side of Team INAZUMA, it's just not there. The communication is just not on point as you would have expected coming on down from them. And Team VALOR, they're exploiting it beautifully every single time. This is what's really hurting, that the use of these 2 flashes almost immediately down on the first initial round could just be detrimental. But it seems as though Pixels, it was a little bit too overzealous, standing out completely in the open, taking down those Leers. Fired Up is going to be able to capitalize on that mistake and get that first initial pick off. And with Pixels now going on down here, Floki, they don't have any form of a smoke to try and go down over and enter over on the sides.
Yeah, Fired Up, he eats a headshot, but at that distance, it's not really all that much. It's just a frenzy. So
Love that. Love that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a love tap. But Buster's actually going to find 9, and with that, they've equalized the scoreboard somewhat. A bit of a weird buy coming out here from VALOR, but they're making it work. The game, it finds one through the paranoia. Wow as well. Getting forced to dismiss, and Buster, he's just looking to clean up the recon on a spot without the arena, and he's gonna find the third kill as well. 2v1 situation. Somehow, INAZUMA, they're gonna be answered back in their own fashion by the side of VALOR as they win a round that they probably didn't have any business winning considering their weaponry.
Yeah, Team VALOR, they're a team that can just completely shred you down in a matter of seconds. And you can already see on the replay as well, when it came down to that first initial man advantage, it was already the side of Team INAZUMA who had pretty much everything down onto their table. With no pixels on the side of the defense, you can take a lot of your pushes a lot more slowly, but they tried to rush the issue. They were like, hey, we have the man advantage. We can easily go down over onto the C side, take the side for ourselves, and just get the round in our favor. But that really didn't work out for them whatsoever, and that's gonna hurt quite a lot moving on down onto the long run. But let's head on down over to the match highlights to get a visual representation of what happened here, Floki. And I'm going to pass the mic on to you with a question. What do you think that the side of Team INAZUMA did wrong? And what do you think that the side of Team VALOR did?
Firstly, I think it's being a bit overzealous. And secondly, I think it's cutting corners, right? So you notice them in that very first pistol round that they did. They tried to borrow a page of a VALOR's book, and they didn't really know how to read it properly. They went in with the jet. They dashed in. It's the right play to make. But instead of clearing out the site and just setting up a sort of a defensive parameter, just making sure you have certain angles covered, they instantly went for that plant. And you can see that if you're going to go for the plant, that's fine. But then at that point, SK Bao decided that he wanted to push a little bit ahead and go forward and try to help his buddy out. So yeah, that just ended up being like a conflict of ideas there. And that conflict of ideas, while it may not seem all that big of an issue when you're playing in your ranked matches, because let's be honest, I mean, those games are just a big coin flip. Sometimes you just get away with hitting your shot, sometimes you don't. But in situations like these are not ranked matches. These are professional games. You make sloppy mistakes like those, you have the opposite ideas on a team, you will get punished by the side of Team Valor. I mean, this is not a team that doesn't take itself seriously. So yeah, I mean, you have to be very, very careful with how you approach things. I mean, if you have a strategy, if you have an idea, if you envision a way to play the map or to play around, then see it through and have full faith in it. Don't half-ass it, because this is what happens when you half-ass things. This is when you really start, finding yourselves in those sorts of situations where you're like, well, okay, we did X, we did Y, but some of our teammates had other ideas, and now we're just stuck in this awkward position where we have some map control, but a spike is not where it needs to be, or maybe one of our players is pushed up too far ahead, and now he's just trapped. So yeah, about INAZUMA is just a diamond that's rough around the edges. I think if they polish that, they can have a much better time against all of these teams.
Yeah, and map number 2, they need to try and, at the bare minimum, polish out pretty much all of their different strategies and then go in for strats that they are comfortable with. They should not try and take a leaf out of their opponent's book without, at the bare minimum, practicing that strategy. And that's what's really hurting them. Consistently, we saw them just constantly change up their strategies. They were trying something a little bit more different. And when you try something a little bit more different, yes, it's a really good thing. But if you're not comfortable with it, if you don't know how to play that one specific strategy down to its fullest potential, it's not really going to be working on down through. You're taking a lot of risk at that point. And Team Valor, they know how to make use of those risks. They know exactly what to do to try and get the advantage in their favor every single time. And they know exactly how to anti-strat that strat that you are trying to steal away from them. And at that stage, you need to know exactly how to counteract and exactly know how to adapt to a lot of the different strategies coming on down through. And it felt as though Team INAZUMA, their team play coordination just was not there for map number 1. But hey, it was just map number 1. There's still map number 2. They can come on back from it. They can just take a deep breath and they can just relax once again. They need to brush up the defeat from map number 1 and come back even stronger down over onto map number 2. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be sending out down map number 2, and we're going to be back with the real shortly with the TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you in just a little bit. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I told you not to go down almost anywhere because we are back already with the action for TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We couldn't wait to catch the second game. The teams were ready and they were like, hey, let's just get this over. We don't need a break. We're just going to keep on going and we're going to be go, heading down over onto the map video screen to see where we're going to be headed for the next initial battle round for these two teams. And now picked up by the side of Team INAZUMA. It's going to be the map of Bind here, ladies and gentlemen. And now, this is the home turf for the side of Team INAZUMA, but at the same time here, Floki, you know for a fact that Team VALOR, they have the best track record on Bind in particular.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Bind is just like their home turf. There's something about deserts that just really attracts them. I feel like this is going to be one of those times where INAZUMA are just going to be caught off guard by what VALOR can do on this map and all the different strats that they have in their back pocket. I do want to point out something from the last game. It's that I see what INAZUMA are trying to do, right? They like to peek in the enemy's book, rip some pages out. But in order to execute those strategies to a high degree, you need to have I'm going to use a bit of a weird word here. It's not really going to sound that right, but hear me out for a second. You need a little bit of empathy if you want to just rip strats out of opponents' books and try to run them yourself. If you do not have the vision to understand what makes that strat work, if you cannot go into the perspective, are you surprised by the Wipe and the Brimstone?
Yes, a double controller strat on Bind?
Yeah, that's something that I have seen VALOR do in the past before, not gonna lie. When Strokey is on, they do run that Killjoy, but apart from that, they pretty much have been running a sort of a dual controller setup. Anyway, the point I was trying to make, I'm going to quickly finish up and then pass the baton over to you, is that when you're trying to execute those strats, you need to be able to see what made that strat work from every agent's perspective. I mean, if you're able to figure out, okay, what was the controller looking to do? What is the initiator looking to do? Where is he probably going to be playing? Just having a rough estimation of that is also very, very good. And my goodness, aggressive. I am not sure what happened to your face, buddy, but I hope you're okay.
It feels as though a couple of technical difficulties from the side of OBS Ginger, but hey, no harm, no foul. I'm still here. I'm still ready to cast this game, no matter what happens here with you, Floki. But let's just talk a little bit more about what you were saying previously. A little bit more empathy. I completely agree with you there. And understanding what you can expect coming on down from every single agent is very much important to try and bring your A game down to the table. And here is where the main question is about to begin for both of these teams. Will they be able to go in for those different strategies? Will they be able to, at the bare minimum, try something a little bit more different to give them that edge? Because when you look at the compositions coming out from both of these teams, it's exactly the same. So at this point, it's all about who plays it better, but at this point, I don't think playing it better is going to be that difference maker. Shots are going to be going in left, shots are going to be going in right, and it was a massive bloodbath down towards the side of Belong. And it is going to be the side of Team INAZUMA being the ones who came out on top in that initial engagement.
Yeah. I mean, VALOR just got faked out by that Viper wall placed down by INAZUMA to start things off, just completely catching them off guard. I'm not too sure what you can do here if the side of VALOR Pixels is just going to get picked up for free, I think. Yep. It's going to go down. Viper Diff. Nixera finds him. But with that, this round should be ending unless the game is still carrying the momentum over from the first game. And you can see he has an inkling about what the positions could be. He's going to see SK out. He's going to spot out Nixera, but he's most certainly dead over here. He's going to get double feed eventually. Nowhere he can go, nowhere he can dash. That's the end of that. And yeah, I mean, INAZUMA, when it turns out that using your brain gets a little bit difficult, just press W. hold hands and press W, and it worked out wonderfully for them. So, I mean, don't stop. I hope they continue doing this because it didn't seem like VALOR expected that.
Yeah, the VALOR were just not ready for such a massive push coming on down from them over down towards that B side, and this is very much important. You should never opt to go in for these aggressive pushes down towards the side of B long without any form of a flash, and the fact that they opted to do that here, Floki,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a question mark, especially when you're on that defensive side. You should never do that, and they're gonna be on for a world of hurt this time around, but at the same time, it's gonna be fired up, getting that first initial pick off. He's gonna be good for 2, he's gonna be good for 3, and fired up! It's fired up down over on the map of Bind here, ladies and gentlemen. He is taking the world by storm. 1 kill at a time. He's gonna be good for 2, and now he knows exactly where the last two members are gonna be holding on down at. Got a little bit too overzealous and a little bit too over aggressive there. Here, Floki, and it's gonna be Buster to shut him on down and take that first initial kill down through. But at the same time, hey, the spike has already gone down for the side of the attackers, so they're gonna be really happy playing their post plans and playing it very defensively as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is the way usually the first 2 rounds always have gone historically for INAZUMA here, so this is not too surprising for me. But the bigger question is, what are they going to do in the next round? I know I'm speaking a bit too early over here, because Buster can still flip this one out. But, Omkar, if there was even an inkling of that dream, it's now faded away. There's only going to be Hunter surviving with the Spectre. He can maybe take out 1, but even that's not going to happen, as Omkar, his head made a fight, and he tanks that first headshot and takes out the Sova. But yeah, this is the round where you really start asking, well, INAZUMA, do you have what it takes to best VALOR on Bind? I mean, because, the first 2 rounds, they went the same way. Last time around we saw them. They started out on defense, except it was VALOR on offense. But the first 2 rounds aren't the problem here for the side of INAZUMA. It's the next round. It's the buy round. It's the following eco round. It's the following force rounds. It's the rounds where they have to sort of look at the enemy team's economy and guess whether if they're going to go for those Spectres and Sheriffs or if they're just looking to get a quick plant going.
Feels as though it's going to be another aggressive push coming on down through from the side of Team VALOR over towards the B-long area, but it feels as though with the first initial pickoff coming on down from the side of Hunter, they're like, hey, I don't want to go in for that push. I just want to try and play it slow, but at the same time, the game a little bit too over-aggressive on his feet, and Omkar is going to be the one to take him down, the first initial player. And with that Buster, maybe he does get that first initial pickoff. He is able to slow things down just a tiny little bit, but not too much, and he needs to try and get the skill down on the Cone. If he's not able to find it, things are already over, and Buster, he shows up massively. He takes down Cone. Hunter is going to be able to take down SK WoW, and it's going to be a complete and utter breakdown from the side of the attackers, ladies and gentlemen. The push, it was just not coordinated together, and they paid the ultimate price for it with their own lives.
Absolutely. I mean, this is looking like it's the beginning of the end here for INAZUMA. I mean, they are going to try to get that plant down. It's probably going to be able to get that spike thanks to all those Viper utility that's available for them. But Omkar doesn't really feel confident about that. He's in fact going to go across the Viper wall and peek out, take out Pixel. That's a big pick, and now they're going to rotate back towards B. But you can see already the side of VALOR, they were aware about this. They've sent Hunter already towards that B area. And there you go, Buster. Well, I don't think he even needs Hunter, but Hunter's going to say, no worries, buddy. I'm still here. I'm going to just, ease the burden off your shoulders, get 1 kill for myself, and then we can all sing Kumbaya in the next round. Well, here you are. I mean, this is what I was talking about. INAZUMA, the first 2 rounds aren't really the problem. It's actually the buy rounds. And I'm really curious what you think, Aggressive, is it that they need to do in order to win these buy rounds against VALOR? Because they've tried different things, but it's not working.
Yeah, the buy rounds are where I feel as though the side of Team INAZUMA, they get a little bit too over-aggressive in the way they take a lot of those different engagements. They're not trying to coordinate together as a team and then go in for the rushes together. They're trying to take a lot more of those individual gunfights, causing them to lose out on a lot of this round. And let's just talk about what happened previously in the last round when Omkar used this orbital strike. He could have waited for Cone to just get a little bit more closer before opting to use that orbital strike, giving Cone the best possible chance to get Buster off guard almost initially on that round. And not doing that really caused a lot of breakdown to happen when it came down to team play and coordination. Yeah. And at that stage, it was the side of Team VALOR being able to capitalize on that and take those rounds off the board. And with that, they're going to be able to take that first round. And with this, they should be able to slow things down just a tiny little bit. And you can already see that all the members of the side of Team INAZUMA, they're making their way down towards that A side, and they have all the utility placed properly. And with the plan now going on down through soon enough, Pixels, he needs to be ready. And if he's able to get this first initial kill, things will be so much more beautiful. But Psychowski does get the first one. Pixels, what was that shot on the fire up?
I have no idea, but Pixels is absolutely mental. He has mental image of where every single player is from the side of INAZUMA, and he just relies on that. That's the mini-map he's looking for. And now Pucks are looking to take the fight to them. Takes out Kuna, does so much damage over to SKO, but SKO still finds that kill only to be taken out by Hunter. INAZUMA gonna throw down that Viper Spit and hopefully maybe get the kill. Oh no, Sikorsky survived. He had full shields the entire time. So yeah, the Viper doesn't do much. And the game almost killing away the Viper there as well. Takes away the shield. So probably gonna have to repurchase that if you're INAZUMA.
Yeah, if this was a pre-nerf judge, you know for a fact that that would have been a kill.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what Riot thinks is good about the judge. Just nerf that gun into Oblivion. I'd be very happy just not seeing that shotgun ever again. There's no reason why at medium range it should do that much damage, or even, you know, remotely get you close to getting a kill. I mean, I'd be a lot happier if they just buff the Bucky instead, because it's still a good action.
I want the old Bucky back. Give me that one-shot Bucky. I love that weapon so much, but hey, it's Ryan. I don't think they're gonna be given back by old Bucky, but hey, they get fired up a couple of daggers, and he's gonna be able to shred through the entire server one by one. SK Wall is gonna be able to thread that needle as well, get another kill down on the Sikorsky. Pixels is gonna be there to get the trade for his own buddy. Maybe take things down a little bit at the bare minimum and get the advantage back in the favor of the side of the defenders. And Team Valor, now they're on a massive disadvantage. And Hunter is actually going to be able to fight one. He's actually going to be able to fight two of Floki. He's losing his mind. You can see the hands on his head. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a play and a half coming on down from the side of Hunter. And the headshots are just too crispy. The headshots are just too clean. And the game comes on down in to get the final kill down on the code. Things are already over, ladies and gentlemen. And Hunter, he is hunting down all the members of the side of Team INAZUMA one by one, not even giving them an inch of space to breathe and suffocating them every single time.
Oh my god! What is up with Hunter? I mean, is this guy a beast? Like, is he a wolf or something? He's just sniffing his enemies out. He doesn't even need to see them. I mean, okay, first kill on the fight up, I can understand. You know, he bolted him up with that owl. He kind of had a faint idea about where he was prior to that bolt timing off. And, you know, he just goes for that spray. But that second kill on the Brimstone, now that's just ridiculous. That's just illegal in right terms. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what's happening. Time and time again, it's just INAZUMA drawing the short end of the stick somehow. And the game, he's going to start things off by finding fired up. Buster going to be playing contact over there. Finds SK well. He's going to find the second kill as well. That's light going down. Valor. All they had to do was hammer the nails in because the coffin was already closing around the side of INAZUMA. This round was not in their bag. They were playing with Sheridan Classics, and there you go. They're going to be taken out here. Put out of their misery, move on to the next round.
Yeah, that's just not going to be the thing that you want to see, especially when you are on the map of Pioneer, ladies and gentlemen. Considering the compositions are exactly the same, we can always say that, hey, this competition is much more defense favored. It's a lot more difficult on the side of attack to get a lot of rounds out in particular. But when you are starting on the attacking side, you need to try at the bare minimum, get those 5 rounds, take it down to that 7-5 scoreline so you have a fighting chance moving on down forward over onto your own defensive side. But consider something. If the side of Team Valor are able to take this down to a 10-2, it's already over. There is no way for the side of the attackers to maybe try and do something here and bring it back down onto their side. Team INAZUMA, they're on a massive disadvantage, and they need to understand that they need to step up right here and right now. Otherwise, it's all but over.
Absolutely. I feel like INAZUMA just don't really have a sense of cohesion amongst themselves the same way that Valor do. You can see Valor, everything from their mind is sorted out. Every single one of their players is on the same page. On the other hand, INAZUMA, it seems that the team play that I've been praising and about them just playing off each other is also starting to fall apart over here.
Yep.
As they're trying to just understand what is it that Valor likes to do on their defense half. And Pixels, right off the bat, using both of those mollies. I really like that because he was under threat of dying over there. He heard multiple players pushing in towards the lampshade, so he knew he wasn't safe. The spike's gonna go down, but Pixel still has a chance for you to pull back. He might be able to find the first fade, but no, fired up behind his head. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly fired up. He got that revenge kill after what happened down here on that shower angle. It was clean, it was beautiful, and it's gonna be SK1 fired up, just shutting down players one by 1. 2 kills down for each player, and it's gonna be the game being able
Oh,
to check
no.
that one more, but Nightzera's already holding down on that corner angle. Nightzera's like, oh, hello there, the game. You want to run away with that operator? There's no way I'm gonna be letting you get away with that this time around, and it's gonna be Nightzera being able to shut him on down and take away the 3rd round on the board for the side of Team INAZUMA. And that first initial pause coming on down through for Buster to come on back is the mental breather that the side of Team INAZUMA needed to bring the rounds back in their favor. They were able to be decisive in their push. They were able to take it down fast, and initially you were telling that, hey, maybe the team play and coordination is just not present from the side of Team INAZUMA, and they're like, hey, Floki, we heard you, we're gonna show you exactly how much team play and coordination we have. SK wow and fired up. They played the angle of flamps beautifully, and they didn't even let off an inch of space after what happened. But hey, just as I was talking about that, SK wow throws a grenade right in the face of his team.
Yep. I mean, that's peak SK operator. What in the hell? I mean, he's been doing his aim labs routine because look at that flick. Absolutely insane stuff. Psychowski also finds fired up. It's only 2 players remaining from the side of INAZUMA, and they're all stuck towards shot. Nowhere to go except the teleporter. But Nightzera says, well, the least I can do is make it a little bit hard for you. You want this win? Earn it. The game still holding the angle. They will say, okay, Nightzera, I can read you like a book. I'm just gonna hold down this area with my operator. You're gonna walk in, and I'm gonna take that kill. It's all down to Coach, and yep, he is also gonna be cleaned up by the game. As yeah, I mean, VALOR just you know, in one round they seem a little bit scrappy, and then in the next one, just clean, clear execution. No faults whatsoever that I can really pinpoint and be like, you know, oh, that maybe they could have done that better. Nope, it's just really pristine execution.
He's called the game for a reason. He's just playing the game right now. Every single time we see an operator on this guy, he will bring down his A game down to the table, and he's gonna shred through this entire server. He's really good on the he's really good on that rifle, but as soon as he has that operator in his hand, he's like a completely different beast every single time. And as I can already see, Team VALOR, they're in their element on the defensive side, and they're playing this composition beautifully, not saving their ultimates. They're consistently throwing out all of their abilities to make sure they not giving away a single bit of map control. And that's what I love about the side of Team VALOR. They understand the importance of map control every single time, and they're playing it just as beautifully. And with that first initial grenade coming on down from the side of SK, wow, they have that information that, hey, maybe they're making that push down towards that B side because they don't really have a choice. If they try and go down over towards that A side, they have to deal with an orbital strike, they have to deal with the brimstone smokes, and they also have to deal with that Viper's pit now holding down over on that angle of A short. They don't really have a lot of ways of getting down over into the side without taking a lot of damage and possibly dying out to pit. So holding down the side of A short beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not too sure about this wipeout. I've seen them, you know, use it time and time again. While it does make sure that no one pushes up shot, it also means that you've pretty much shown your hand. And you're gonna say, you know, in big loud words that, hey, my name is Viper and I'm playing on this part of the map. You guys can go elsewhere now. But hey, when you have VALOR on your team and you have Buster and the game to back you up, maybe that's exactly what you mean. Give them a false sense of security. Make them think that you can come into Azuka, and everyone else from the side of VALOR was playing towards that B side. So yeah, I mean, they're just able to shut everyone down. I'm curious to hear your thoughts though, Aggressive. What do you think of these Viper ults during the start of the round on defense? In my opinion, I actually feel that it's a little overrated. I don't think it's as good as you might like. I think when you actually have the ult as Viper, you should look to play a bit more passively and hopefully use it for retake situations instead. Just, you know, instead of using it right off the bat.
Using it right off the bat gives you a little bit much more control when it comes down to map control. And so I like the idea that you were trying to employ, that you want to use it much more based upon retakes. But hey, let's say that your team doesn't really want to play for the retake, they want to play for that defensive hold, then using the Viper ult a lot more aggressively down very early really does help down in those type of situations. So it really depends on the dynamic of your team. If your team likes to play it a lot more defensive, if they like to hold down the side and not even give away the side control whatsoever, then go in for it. Using that early Viper's ult just deters a lot of these aggressive pushes that could be going on down through. But we can talk about that just in a little bit, because the game, he's not even gonna let me finish my sentences. He's just popping heads left, he's just popping heads right, pulls out an operator down on the other end and pulls out a sheriff on the second. He's gonna be able to get a flawless round. He's gonna be able to get 4 kills for himself at the game. He's been activated. But let's move on down back to what I was talking down previously with the Viper's ultimate. Yes, I completely agree with you. Using it for the retakes allows you to take a lot more side control, but at the same time, if you don't want to play for the retake, use it early, have the map control in your favor, and that's exactly what the side of Team Valor are trying to do. They don't want to give away the control down over to the side of their opponents, because you can see when it came down to the post plants, the side of Team INAZUMA, they are very strong and they're very potent.
Absolutely. I feel like INAZUMA just on point today. I'm sorry, yeah, the side of Valor just on point today. And yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, if that's the ideology behind the Viper ult, okay, I can, get behind that. I'm like, all right, that makes that makes sense. My only concern was that, you just sort of show where the Viper is playing, and then in that situation, I mean, what's even the incentive to continue to play on that part of the map? Go elsewhere, use all your forces on that other part. But yeah, those shock darts just well, they're already putting a dent in the HP of INAZUMA, but they have found one pick to start things off, so maybe, just maybe, they can actually still do this. Spider was going to find the game, and I think that should be it. Them in a 5v3 situation is about as good as it's going to get. SKWow is going to wipe check Psychovsky, and Psychovsky fails that, so it's all down to the remaining players on Valor. It's going to be down to Hunter, and it's going to be down to Pixels. Well, they both going to find the kill. Hunter actually going for third. They even find kill. Pixels going to get another. No, a 1v1 against the Jet. And fired up. Oh, boy, he has timing. He does. He does have that timing. Fired up's going to find him.
Yeah, that was a little bit too close for comfort though, Floki right there. You can already see I was at the edge of my seats, and Hunter getting those 2 kills and Pixels getting another simultaneous 2 as well. Basically just flipping around in a matter of seconds, and both of these teams, they're just so ready, and they are always ready to take these rounds, no matter if they're in a 2 versus 5 situation or in a 1 versus 5. You can never count out these players right here and right now, ladies and gentlemen, from the side of Team Valor. But at the same time, you have to give it to Fired Up to understand the timing and then catch Pixels off guard. A little bit unlucky in the long run, but hey, in the game of Valorant, luck is also a skill from time to time, and with that, they're gonna be able to stabilize. They're gonna be able to take that deep breath and possibly take it down to that 7 and 5 magic scoreline that I was talking about, because they need to have that level of advantage before they move on down over onto their own defensive side, because they have no idea what kind of threats could be going on down through. But Pixels on that lurk, he's gonna be able to get a 2k for himself. Beautifully done from him. The game gets 1 more kill. Cone gets spotted out as well. Pixels, he's gonna be going in for a couple of shots for himself, but he's not gonna be able to find out much. And now Cone, he's stuck in a 1 versus 3 situation, making a 3 versus 0 situation, with Buster getting a bullet straight into his skull.
Switching sides.
Absolutely great defensive art here for the side of Valor. INAZUMA. Oh no, man, something caught me off guard. I'm pretty sure I saw one of our admins typing GH in all chat, and I was just yeah, that just got me off guard. But anyway, as I was saying, Valor, great defense half for them. They're just able to make that double controller setup work, and this is what the double controller setup do. I mean, it does for you. You just have the option of being a little bit more aggressive. I mean, Sentinels, the thing about them is why they're really good at slowing down pushes and holding areas. They're not that good at lurking compared to, say, something like a Viper or something like, I don't know, an Astra, because you're still going to be able to provide utility while you're on the lurk. Can't really say the same for that Cypher. It's a lot more static in that nature. Same for the Killjoy. Anyway, well, let's see what this dual controller setup can do on the aggressive half here. Because, yeah, I mean, Valor, while they might have put up 8 rounds on defense, they still need to win 5 more on offense to finish this game.
They're going to be a lot more interesting moving on down the line, primarily because of one thing. Looking at the positioning from all the members of the side of Team INAZUMA, the main thing that I want to see is a little bit more emphasis on them playing based upon team play and coordination. And I can already see that all the members of the side of Team INAZUMA, they're playing exactly the same way as Team Valor did previously, but with a little bit more oomph on their end when it comes down to their aggressive plays. And with Fired Up getting so much information with his first initial push, this is just like a far cry being like, hey, there is no one down here towards that B side. We can instantly go down over towards that A side and then go in for a couple of our own plays. And look at Psychovsky. He's already ready with a couple of his own lineups. And with this execution now on the card, suited up with only 30 seconds left on the clock, the push is going to be going on down through from the side of Team Valor. And the execution is already ready, ladies and gentlemen. But with that first initial Molotov coming on down through from the side of the Brimstone. This is the main thing that they needed. Omkar, he set up his team perfectly for this play, and there is no way they can go in for that rotation fast enough. Will they be able to get down onto the side, and will they have enough time to clear out pretty much everything is a real question. But SK, wow, he's still alive. He's gonna be still kicking. He's gonna be able to take down Buster with that first initial play. There's not really a lot of time. Hunter's gonna be good for 2, but how many more can he get is the real question. He's gonna be able to survive, but with only 3 seconds left on the clock, there is no way for them to get that flag. And this is why it's super important, ladies and gentlemen, to never run the clock down to the very last seconds. Yes, they got all of the kills. Yes, they were able to take everyone down, but at the very end of it all, it is gonna be a round win coming on down through for the side of Team INAZUMA.
Yeah, I mean, it was a worst case scenario there. They actually dropped the spike on the site itself. And even though Hunter wanted to go pick it up and plant it, there was a player marking that spike. So, yeah, extremely hard situation for the side of, VALOR. And I think this is a much needed breather for INAZUMA once again, because they are down 4 rounds. They need to catch up. They need to be able to just make sure that they stay competitive over here in the second map. I mean, sure, Bind, it may not be the strongest map. It might be Valor's best map as well, but that doesn't mean you just roll over and say, okay, you know what, we're not even gonna try. Just end this game already, put us out of a misery. So let's see if they're just able to make something of that fighting spirit. But speaking of fighting spirit, it's actually Buster who finds an initial pick and the game going in for the flank, but he's gonna see that Viper drop right in front of his face thanks to those paint shots by Buster. Buster single-handedly opening this round up for his team.
Buster, he's just busting down the doors of the entirety of Team INAZUMA one by one, but the shots are going to be going on in, and this time it's not going to be Buster coming on down through, instead it's going to be Hunter. And this round could just be a thrifty round going on down through for the side of the defenders, the side of the attackers, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Shots are going to be going in left, shots are going to be going in right, and Buster, he just slaps Code in the face with a Sheriff shot straight to the forehead. And with that, it's already over, fired up, he's in a good spot, but he's not going to be able to survive for long. And Buster, he just gets a beautiful 4K for himself. There is a reason why I call Buster the most consistent player that I've ever seen in my entire Valorant casting career. This guy will always show up no matter what. He's not gonna be super flashy every single time, but when you rely on him, when he is needed on that server, he's gonna show up massively. He's gonna pull off those 30 rounds, and he is gonna pull off the impossible every single time. Buster with a 4K, not really surprising, but hey, this is a round win coming on down for the side of Team Valor, and with this 30 round now under their belts, they're gonna be having all of the confidence moving on down forward over onto the 18th round of this half.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest reasons why INAZUMA have not been really finding success is because it's just a side of Valor just popping off every now and then. Just when you start thinking that, okay, maybe this side of INAZUMA are going to have a breather, the answer is going to be no. Fire it up. He does find Psychosity to start things off, but it's not enough. They're still in the 3v4. SKWOW on the flank, looking to catch someone off guard, but the drone already out from Hunter as he understands the map so much, I mean, so well. It's like the back of his hand. He just knows that the flank is coming. And drones out at the perfect time, even takes out Omkar, makes the flank weaker. And now in a 2v4 situation, SKWOW, you just saw Buster clutch it out, but can you do it yourself? That is the question.
Oh, nice. There are good shots.
What the hell is going on? Why is Pixel securing elbow?
I think that he was expecting a player down on that elbow angle, but hey, he was able to survive the Noir foul with a couple of wallbang shots. So in the long run, you know, we make a couple of mistakes. There is a couple of miscommunications coming on down from the side of the teammates, and here at this point, Pixel was like, my spidey senses are tingling. Maybe there's a player over towards that elbow angle, but nah. It was another push coming on down from the back end, but hey, Pixel was able to survive. He was able to get that revenge kill and redeem himself down in the long run. But at the same time, it's going to be double digits on the board for the side of Team Valor here now, Floki. And with this, Team Valor, they're going to be able to take that deep breath and be like, hey, we got to double digits. We can relax just a tiny little bit. Not too much, though, because if you relax too much, we know for a fact the Team INAZUMA, they're going to catch us off guard and take us down almost instantly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have a way of setting false precedents, and there you go. I mean, those paint shells doing so much damage to every single member on the side of Valor, and it ends up mattering. Coach should be able to find 2 kills on the back of that, and he shut down this push coming in from Valor. And look at INAZUMA. I mean, they just they're looking to get back on site, but Buster somehow found a kill with the Spectre. What the hell is this man doing? I mean, I want to have whatever he has for breakfast because, yeah, he is looking on point today, no matter what weaponry he has. But SKWOW's positioning is pretty good here. Aggressive, he might be able to catch Valor off guard.
Here.
Maybe Buster has a can of Red Bull on his side, so make sure to scan that QR code whenever you do see it, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a can as well if you want to play like Buster and just bust down the doors of your enemies as well down into your own drag names. But at the same time, Buster, his door has been busted on down initially this time around, but the game is still alive. He's gonna be still kicking. Hunters pulls out the Hunter's Fury, but he's not gonna be able to survive for long though. It's gonna be SK Wow and Omkar coming on down from the sidelines, and they are gonna be the ones to clutch this round out. And with the double digits on the board, I think that the side of Team Valor, they took the deep breath a little bit too much and they got a little bit too relaxed down on their end, because now the driver's seat is once again in the favor of the side of the defenders. And for the side of Team INAZUMA, this is the main thing that they needed. They needed that little bit of a break from such a massive win streak coming on down through from the side of Team Valor, because now with them having the momentum in their favor once again, the side of Team Valor, they need to step up massively. Otherwise, the entire map could just go out of their hands in a matter of seconds.
Absolutely. I feel like this is one of those situations for Valor where you start taking INAZUMA a bit too lightly and it starts firing back on you. And now with the Viper ult peeking mid into a shot.
No!
Oh my god, it's just a choo-choo train towards that B side, but Korn is going to be able to find that one kill to start things off. And look at that, I actually like this maneuver from INAZUMA. They're going to be able to just, lock down the side of Valor inside this B area. There's nowhere they can go out, but they have to try and make do in a 4v5 situation, and that's going to be hard. They need to try and play with the buddy system and just set each other up for trades. And INAZUMA being split up might find it a little bit hard to do that. But SK Wow, it all comes down to this initial pick. If he can find it, things could get a lot easier. He's throwing down those satchels to force someone off the position. But the game is like, why the hell are you going to disturb me in my position? I'm going to come out and put a bullet in your head for trying to do that. Oh my god, Omkar and White actually finding kills. Pulled into a shotgun, but it's going to be INAZUMA just once again punishing Valor for taking them a bit too lightly.
Yeah, it felt as though the positioning coming on down through from the side of Team Valor was just not present in this round in particular. No one was watching the hookah angle here, Floki, and it was just a complete and utter breakdown when it came down to the terms of communication from the side of Team Valor. And they paid the price for it, not with just their own lives, but also the round, because...
Okay, I think I might have lost you there, aggressive, but I mean, yeah, I agree with what you were saying. I mean, it's once again, it's INAZUMA just punishing the side of Valor for taking them a bit too lightly. Did I just hear you, aggressive? I think you're back.
Yes, the Indian Discord servers are a little bit too oof right now, and sometimes they do disconnect me from time to time. But hey, as I was saying previously, it felt as though the communication gap coming on down through on that round in particular for the side of Team Valor really did hurt them, and they need to try and stabilize themselves, because the momentum is going out of their hands really, really, really quickly. Initially, it was a 10-5. Now it's a 10-7. Slowly but surely, the side of Team INAZUMA are inching closer and closer to having that win onto their side. And the game,
oh my god,
once again, he wanted to make that push happen, but SK Wow, he spots them out. It just sees the tailwind wind pretty much at that stage, and he's going to be able to get those shots and get that first initial kill and Pixels. He's going to be able to survive, maybe sneak on in, get one kill, but fired up. He was ready for it. He was expecting Pixels to go in for such a play. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's already over. The side of the defenders, they're going to be able to take them down one by one. Shots are going to be raining on in. And with that, it's just a 2 versus 5 situation, and there is nothing that the side of Team Valor can do to try and clutch out this round.
Yeah, well, Psychopsy can make it hurt a little bit more, but he can only do it for SK Wow as once again, INAZUMA just quickly finishing that round off, and Valor just looking to be done with it. If they got the spike down, it's the best case situation. It's about as good as it gets, but they don't get the spike down. They do find a kill, but doesn't really mean all that much. Now, Valor are going to be a little bit more hesitant as to how they approach the map, because you can see INAZUMA, now that they've put up 8, Valor need to be playing a bit more cautiously, because if they blow this buy round, they blow their lead. And let's not forget, they started from an 8-4 half. 9 was their pick. And somehow INAZUMA managed to put together 4 rounds on board for themselves. A very, very important round in terms of determining how the rest of this half is going to play out. And it's going to start with Fired Up finding Hunter. That's the main man on Valor being taken out. That's the man who gives you all the information in the world. That's the most experienced player on the team being taken out. But Buster says, I'm not less experienced either. I'm going to be able to go in and deliver for my team when needed, time and time again. The ult is going to come through from Brimstone. Pixels takes 20 damage but still survives, and that Viper ult is gonna be staying through. They're gonna get that plant going, but they are in a 3-4 situation here, INAZUMA, so they need to play this a little bit carefully. If they take it a little lax. They could end up getting caught off guard. Yep.
Wow is going to be able to take a lot more of an aggressive angle down towards the side of Elbow, and he's going to be able to get that first initial kill down onto the game. And with that, he pulls out the showstopper, tries to go in for a couple of kills for himself, but he's not going to be able to find out much. But Tchaikovsky, he's playing this beautifully. He understands that he just needs to play for time. He just needs to play it slow and let Buster do all that he can to make sure this round is going to be going in their favor. And with this, Tchaikovsky, he pulls out the orbital strike. He's going to be able to waste a lot of time. Goes in for a couple of shots at Tchaikovsky. He's just there. He's just ready to clutch out the round for his team. Has the orbital strike, has the game sense, and he has the time in his favor. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be the side of Team Valor finally being able to take the 11th round on the board and have the momentum back in their side once again here, Floki. And with this, the side of Team INAZUMA, they're going to be feeling the pressure now because it's either go big or go home for them, because as soon as Team Valor have that taste of victory, you know for a fact that they're not going to be giving it up without a fight.
Absolutely not. I mean, that's the kind of round that Valor needed. Even though they lose Hunter in the start, Buster steps up for the team. You know, and this is what I've talked about in Valor time and time again. All these players have that sense of responsibility that, okay, if one of my teammates dies and I need to do something here, I can't just afford to play passively and wait for the enemy team to make mistakes. And they always deliver. They always are able to chime in, whether it be Pixels, whether it be Busters, whether it be the game. And yeah, this time around, they're going to make a move towards shot. The Jet is going to be playing that judge duty. Well, Nightzera is going to find Buster to start things off, and that's a rifle being taken away. A very important kill, but the game has made its way towards Labs. You have to be careful. That judge, I mean, you don't want to find out at what range you can fight against it and what range you can just spray the enemy down. Omkar, he's already aware of the player in Lamp, so he's marking that angle, and the game just sort of trapped in here, is waiting for his teammates to make a move, and as soon as they do, Nightzera just shuts them down. Fight is going to find the game as well. It's only going to be down to Hunter, as he is feeling himself. Is he going to spam through that smoke? If he finds the kill on Omkar again, it's going to be a sense of deja vu for him.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be able to find that kill. Hunter, he's just going to get hunted down from multiple different angles. He's going to be good for one, but after that, he's not going to be good for his second. Instead, it's going to be Omkar being able to take him on down. And once again, it's going to be the momentum shift going in the favor of the side of the defenders. And with this here, Floki, they're going to be able to take that deep breath, and they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to be able to play it slow. I'm going to be able to play it smart. And now Team INAZUMA, it's all about getting back to that 11th round on the board. Or it could be the side of Team Valor taking it all away once again back into their favor. But at the same time, when it comes down to the terms of eco, they're not looking the prettiest. So they need to go in for another eco round, try and stabilize themselves, and then fight for the 12th round on the board on their next initial buy round.
Absolutely. This is looking like the end. Oh my god, fired up, lines up, shuts down any dreams of them taking the eco round. Well, Tchaikovsky is good for one, but that's all he's good for. Code puts him and Buster out of their misery. As now INAZUMA looking like they are creeping up behind Valor here. If Valor end up losing this round, it could be INAZUMA taking this map and us making our way towards Ascent for that Decider aggressive.
This stage, it feels as though Team Valor, they have the best track record on this map in particular, but the defense-sided nature of the composition that the side of Team INAZUMA have is what's giving them that massive advantage. And I was talking about this previously as well. As soon as the defensive side comes, Team INAZUMA, they're going to have a lot more advantages down onto their side. And this is why having a flash is just so important. But Floki, don't talk about that lineup, because that is a Radiant level lineup that you need to remember. No, that is a lineup.
I didn't even see a recon dot. Was there a recon dot? I don't see a recon dot. I just see an owl being used over here. Yeah, there's... Yeah, a little known fact. That recon dot revealed everyone, guys. You just didn't see the map at the time. Well, Cone, he might not be good with his recon dot, but he's certainly good with his Hunter's Fury as he tags out the game, pulls him towards the other side. But oh my goodness, the game just tagging up Fired Up, as Fired Up is lucky to be alive right now. Took a bullet to his head, his dome. Not sure what it's made of, but I'm quite sure Fired Up doesn't really want to find out.
Yeah, Fired Up at this stage, he's still very deadly though here. You know for a fact that even though it is a 4 HP Fired Up, that operator is still gonna be super deadly moving on down the line, but Nightzera, he does spot out one. Omkar's gonna be coming on down as a backup. He's gonna be able to take down Pixels as well, and one by one, the shots are gonna be going in left, shots are gonna be going in right, and Omkar's gonna be able to set everything up for his buddies. down from the silence. And with this, it's pretty much already over. There's nothing that they can do. Fired Up gets his revenge kill down onto the game for giving him a love tap down here on the angle of Showers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be 11-11 on the scorecard for both of these teams. And it feels as though it's already over here, Floki, because you need to remember something now for the side of Team Valor. They need to make that choice. It's either go in for a force fire round and stop the side of Team INAZUMA from going on down over to that 12-11 scoreline, or they could opt to go in for that eco and fight for that overtime instead. And it feels as though Team Valor, they're making that choice to fight for the overtime instead of going in for a possible force fight and a loss.
I mean, it's just them, being extremely rational. It's experience speaking. Look at the economy on the enemy team. There's 9,000 credits on almost everyone. Not 9,000, but a lot of money on everyone, and it just doesn't make sense to try and force you around. And I mean, what good is going to come out of it? Not much. Instead, you're going to try and play for the OT, and Hunter's actually going to tag up quite a few players here, but Fired Up is shutting those dreams down, and Fired Up is also going to find the game. Hunter, can he find a kill? No, he cannot. It's Fired Up. Finds himself a 4K. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the side of INAZUMA are going to be on match point. Not once again, but rather for the first time in this series. They are fighting for survival over here, while the side of VALOR, they're fighting for victory. They're hoping that they can win this round, because they did save in the last one. And if they can win this round, if they're able to take it to overtime, they're going to have a much better chance at winning, because you're not really going to have money for operator plus utility if you're going to be playing that jet.
The main thing that I really want to see is a little bit more control of that operator coming on down through from the side of the defenders. The fact that Team Valor are not trying to control how Fired Up is going in for a lot of these different engagements, it's really going to be hurting them down, moving on down forward. And look at the positioning coming on down from the game. Maybe he's going to be able to get one kill, but with this positioning, Omkar, he played that so cheeky. He's actually going to be able to get 2 kills, and he actually gets away with all of it as well. Shots are going to be going in left, shots are going to be going in right. Omkar's going to be able to survive. He's going to be able to take down 4, and he's looking for that ace right here and right now, ladies and gentlemen. But at the same time, Hunter, he's one of those players that could just make the impossible possible. Shots are going to be going on in, and there is no way he's going to be able to survive. And Omkar, that play at the very end, you deserve all of the praise. You deserve the MVP status just for a play like that. Beautifully done from the side of Team INAZUMA, ladies and gentlemen. They take map number 2, and they're going to be sending us over down on to map number 3 almost immediately.
Absolutely. I mean, INAZUMA just playing until the end. I mean, these guys, I'm not gonna lie, I did count them out. I thought that, this is gonna be it. Valor's just gonna take this. They've built up a great lead. They have an 8-4 half, but no, INAZUMA says until the fat lady sings, it's not over. And boy, did they just play it down to the wire. They knew that they had to win time and time and time again, and just seemed like their defense, their double controller setup was even better than the double controller setup on the side of VALOR. I mean, they had to win 9 rounds on defense to be able to take that, and somehow they did. I mean, crazy stuff here by INAZUMA. Once again, it's not every single day that you get to see comebacks like these, but when you do, it's absolutely fantabulous.
That is for sure. Let's head on down over to the match highlights to get a little bit more of a bird's eye view so we can break everything down piece by piece for you all back at home, ladies and gentlemen, primarily because this map, in my eyes, it wasn't really a bad play coming on down through from the side of Team Valor. It was just a lot of good plays coming on down through from the side of Team INAZUMA. I will not say that Team Valor, they played it really bad or they made a lot of mistakes coming on down from their end. Yes, there were a lot of mistakes when it came down to team play and coordination, but it wasn't that massive. It wasn't like that gaping hole that we saw coming on down from the side of Team INAZUMA on map number 1. It was just those small mistakes here and there that costed them pretty much everything. But at the very end of it all, it was the individual plays and the smart game plans coming on down through from the side of players like Omkar, and then of course Fired Up every single time, showing up in multiple different ways and getting a lot of these rounds on the board for their side. Team INAZUMA, they played it so beautifully when it came down to their individual performances that the entirety of Team Valor, they got completely caught off guard. They were not ready for it. They didn't know what to expect. And here is where all of the advantages were being made down onto their side. And with this Team Valor, they just lost it out at the very end. They were not able to adapt quickly enough to a lot of the strats coming on down through from the side of Team INAZUMA. And at the very end, it was just Omkar pulling off a 900 IQ game plan that I'm pretty sure that even us as casters, we were not ready for.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure what the hell that positioning was towards Lamps. I think he might have seen the battle from the game stick out from
the other side of the Viper wall, and he's like, something fishy going on over here, and then he was just able to put him out of his misery. INAZUMA, like you mentioned, it's just them having a read on what VALOR are doing, and VALOR staying a little predictable is not usually how they like to play. I mean, I've seen them play bind, multiple times, and they do switch things up. But it seems that their own strat this time around was played back against them, and it was done to perfection because, they too ran the double controller setup on INAZUMA. They ran the Viper along with the Brimstone, and it worked out beautifully for them. I mean, even though VALOR had a really good defensive half, it just seemed that every single round that they got on offense was thanks to Buster, and you can't just be relying on one person to give you those sorts of openings. And maybe this is why the side of INAZUMA had a better time, because it seemed that the players were playing a lot more proactively on defense compared to the side of VALOR. I mean, VALOR, they had that one round where the Pixels came in with a huge backstab, but apart from that, I didn't really see them play as proactive.
Yeah, and also primarily whenever I think about team compositions, you need to have that level of balance on your defensive side and also on your attacking side. Maybe if there was a Sky instead of that Sova, I think that this composition would have a lot of potency down on the attacking side and also on the defensive side, and not having that level of flash to give you that little bit of an edge down on your attacking side really did hurt the side of Team VALOR when it came down to the round swap. And I was talking about this previously as well, that it will all really come down to how many rounds the side of Team VALOR are going to be able to take initially. And the fact that they were not able to take it down to a 9-3 at the bare minimum costed them pretty much everything. That one round was that difference maker for the side of Team VALOR. And at the very end of it all, it was Team INAZUMA being able to take the much more favored side on their end at the very end to try and close everything out. But still, it was a really close game. Both of these teams, they played beautifully, and they made a lot of very incredible plays as well. I'm always going to be thinking about that Omkar play, and make sure to follow us on Instagram as well, because Omkar's play is going to be going on there for sure. This guy, he played it so beautifully, and he was able to take it all the way down away from the side of Team VALOR. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, this was just map number 2. If map number 3 is just as intense, things are going to be heating up real soon. We're going to be setting up the map of Ascent real soon, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be back with the real shortly with the TEC Gauntlet Season 1 powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you in just a little bit. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We are back already. Short breaks all throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen. We are pumped for this matchup, and the players are always ready to get things rolling down from their end as well. So let's head on down over onto the map Veto screen to see where the last battleground for this intense matchup is going to be at, Floki. And it's going to be Ascent. And we know for a fact that both of these teams, when it comes down to the map of Ascent, are absolutely incredible in the way they play this.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ascent is one of those maps which you just have in your back pocket. It seems that teams are finally starting to realize that Ascent is kind of like that map which you need to be good at, but you can't really afford to rely on it. You can't pick and be like, oh yeah, we have a good Ascent, because every team is going to have a good Ascent. Every team is going to know how to play that map. So the difference maker is not the way you like to play, or not the strategies that you have, because I mean, let's be honest, there are only so many different ways to cook a potato, and there are only so many different ways to play Ascent. At the end of the day, it does come down to individual skill and individual preferences, if you might, and it becomes a game of rock paper scissors, trying to guess what the enemy is going to do and just trying to counter that. So yeah, Ascent is going to be very, very interesting. I feel like VALOR have an edge going into this one, but I wouldn't be too surprised if INAZUMA caught me off guard and actually managed to steal the first half away from VALOR. Correct me if I'm wrong, but given that VALOR started out on defense on Bind, does it mean that we are going to see them on offense? Okay, no, never mind. They are on defense. I just can't read. Yeah. Okay. But okay, so yeah, I mean, I feel like INAZUMA starting out on offense is what they prefer. On Bind, they started out on offense. Sure, it didn't work out for them as well as they would have liked. But starting off on offense on Ascent, it does give you a lot more options. You can opt to go for a double duelist lineup. You can, I mean, that is pretty much the golden standard. But what I mean to say is that you can look to pick up something like a Phoenix or something like a Reyna, give yourself that X factor. Usually you see Razors being picked up in maps where it is justified, like Bind. But I feel like this is really a map for a Reyna that might, find herself in the hands of SQL, or if we're talking about VALOR, we might see a Phoenix come out here and then. But I want to hear your thoughts, Aggressive, because I'm quite split on this. I don't know that if you're VALOR and you're on defense, which duelist do you prefer to have? Is Phoenix slightly better than the Reyna, or is it good to have Reyna instead, just to play that mid area and lock it down and be like, I'm going to be very hard to deal with over here and be cheeky?
I always talk about Reyna as more of a feast and famine champion, because if you are able to get a lot of value out of this specific agent, and if you're able to get the ball rolling really early, then of course, go for the Reyna if you have a lot of confidence in your aim, and if you have a lot of confidence that you're going to be able to go in for a proper snowball. But I will always be on that Phoenix train, because I personally love the level of utility that Phoenix brings down to the table, primarily because of one thing. He has that flame wall, he has those curveballs, and of course he has those hot hands, which is just a game changer whenever you're executing down onto a side. For example, let's just think of a situation where the Phoenix is pushing down towards the angle of A short. He doesn't really need a lot of smokes to help him out as well, primarily because of one thing. He throws a curveball, he takes A short control, and when he's going in for that first initial entry, he throws out another curveball, uses his flame wall to block off the angle of garden, and then he can push himself down forward over onto the side and use his hot hands to clear out generator or this side of Underhell as well, or maybe stop a lot of these aggressive pushes that could be coming on down through from the side of Heaven. He has a lot of utility, and what can the Reyna do? Yes, she can use her two flashes to go down in over onto the A short angle, take A short control, But what is she going to have left for taking side control on her favor? And if she's not able to get that first initial kill, then you don't have that snowball effect. You don't have that ability to use that dismiss to check down multiple corners or maybe go in for an aggressive peek down towards the angle of garden. The Reyna is a lot more one-dimensional in comparison to the side of the Phoenix, and in the hands of a player like Buster, who can fully utilize a lot of his flashes, his hot hands, and of course his flame walls down to its worst potential, I want to see that Phoenix personally for the side of Team Valor. But hey, at the very end of the day, it's all up to the players, whichever they're feeling more comfortable on and whichever they're feeling much more crispier on at the very end of the day. And I feel as though Buster, he is of course going to be picking up that Phoenix, but for the side of SK Wall, I'm probably thinking much more leaning towards the side of that Raider.
Fair enough. I do want to ask you this question because, being a Breach fanboy, I need to, always pose it. But do you
Yep.
think this is a map for Breach? And before you actually answer that question, let me just, point out a little factoid so I can throw you off guard a little bit, see what you actually think. The one time you've seen Breach on Ascent, I think, is when Global Esports picked it up.
Mhm.
And even though the Breach performance looked decent, Global Esports still lost that map, mind you. So, yeah, what do you think of a possibility of a Breach coming out for either of these teams? Probably not for Valor, considering they have Hunter, but what about INAZUMA?
The Breach, in my eyes, this is a pick that I always say can work out, but at the same time, it's a lot more difficult because now that Breach is a lot more self sufficient, you need to try and go in for plays that can benefit you yourself as well as your team. And this is really important. Using those flashes to go in for those aggressive peaks now, it's a lot more viable, and you should be doing it a lot more often. You should not always try and think about setting up your teammates. You also need to set up yourself, because now that the Aftershock has a much more of that longer cooldown, you set up your teammates, and after that, if they opt to go in for an aggressive push, you should not always try and set them up, because use one flash to shut up your teammate and then save that other flash to make sure that you are safe yourself. Because now that Peach no longer has those 3 flashes, you don't have that level of utility to stop a lot of these aggressive pushes that could be coming on down through. And also, you need to consider something with the Rolling Thunder being a lot more versatile and being a lot more easier to use in comparison to what it was before. A lot of people say that Breach got nerfed, but in my eyes, he got buffed massively when it came down to being a lot more self-sufficient all over the map. But at the same time, I will always prefer that Sky, because having those regenerative flashes,
Yep.
it's just a completely different game
No, I
changer
agree
every
with you.
single time.
Absolutely. I mean, I just feel like, you potentially have 4 flashes in the round. One to start things off with, one to recharge mid-round, one to play post-plant with if you're on offense, and on defense, one to, just try and retake. So, yeah, I feel like Sky definitely is an agent that for some reason we actually aren't seeing that much play out of. Maybe it's because it does require a fair bit of specialization. It does require you to play it for a while. And yeah, I mean, if you play it for a while, that Sky certainly can do a lot of work. But if you don't, then that Sky just looks kind of
Ooh, Viper.
useless. And yeah, I mean, this is another question I wanted to ask you. What do you think of the double controller setup on a map like Ascent? Do you think that's a viable thing to do, or is it just a bit too outdated?
In my eyes, this is very much outdated, because the new meta on Ascent, because of the Astro coming on down through it, is all based upon control. And in a way, yes, you can get a lot of value out of that Viper and Omen combination, but at the same time, it's just not as potent as you would expect. And it feels as though Team Inazuma, they're opting to go down through with much more of the controller-based utility instead of having the duelist utility onto their side, and they're trying to counteract the level of utility coming on down through from the side of the Astro by picking up these 2 controllers. But in the long run here, Floki, I don't think that they have a lot of advantages against that Astro.
Absolutely. I feel like that Astra is just so much more potent, right? You have tons and tons of options with your stars. You can play smokes, you can concuss, you can suck. I mean, it's just very hard to predict what that Astra is going to be doing. I see them hovering over the Omen. Please don't pick. Oh my god, they picked the Omen. If you feel comfortable with it, then go for it. But I feel like Omen is one of those agents that is somewhat outdated now. He used to be very, very strong. I mean, just having those rechargeable smokes and starting off with 2 of them, and having all that other utility available to you as well, it was just very, very strong. Just why pick anything else unless you're going to pick Viper? But now with the addition of Astra, like you've mentioned, that what does the Omen do? Like, just let's just compare him to all the other controllers. He doesn't have a Molotov. He doesn't really have any other ability that helps out his team. Brimstone at least has a molly. Viper has a cool wall that she can set up to, fake enemies out, or even set up plants with it. You can
but what else is remaining? Yeah, you have Astra remaining, who's always just an overall good agent. So like Omen is just bottom of the controller hierarchy for me at the moment. And every time I see this guy be picked, I just hope to myself, I hope you're a person who specializes in Omen, because without that, your pick is not gonna look that strong.
Yeah, you need to go in for a lot of those flex ninja plays to get a lot of value out of that Omen, but at the same time, you need to play a lot more self-sufficient. You cannot really rely on trying to set up your teammates. Because if you're
I think I lost you there for a second, aggressive, but no mind, you can just regain control and come back later. But yeah, I mean, we are going to be cutting to a pause for just a second over here. It seems to be some technical issues with one of the players, and as soon as that's fixed, we'll be back in the game. But yeah, we should be going live anytime soon now. VALOR, like I said, with the Astra, probably going to have a much easier time on defense compared to INAZUMA. But INAZUMA starting out on offense with a Jet and Reyna, while VALOR opt for the Phoenix. I wonder how this affects the dynamic. Well, it's going to start off with the side of INAZUMA pushing up towards Ape. You know, the buddy system coming in effect. You can see Korn as well as Fired Up just playing off each other and trying to play together. Elsewhere on the map, though, I can see that VALOR are trying to get some map control for themselves. The game was in a very cheeky position, spotted out Nike's era, so he knows where one of them are, but does he know that he could potentially get double peeked and get his dome blown clean off? Well, for the time being, he is going to dash away. And he does spot on multiple players, and I think those footsteps are going to give it away. He kind of has an idea about what's going on here, so he's going to look to play a bit more defensively. That Viper Wall should give everything away, and the rotation should start coming in from VALOR anytime soon. But SK are actually getting sucked in by that Astra, and for the time being, he is going to be able to find the game, start things off, get that suck going. Hunter down to 31 HP, is going to be able to take out SK. Well, can he find a second? No, he cannot. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of that. And now, it's all down to the rest of the members of VALOR. Pixels is going to be taken out. It's only going to be Saikovsky and Buster surviving. And yeah, I mean, VALOR just time and time again, their relationship with pistol round is not the best in the world. Saikovsky, he does stagger Fired Up though, so maybe he has an opportunity over here. But Buster, yeah, he's just getting shot from every single angle, doesn't check the corner. He's going to get peeked out by Korn, and now a 1v3 is almost impossible for Saikovsky. Yeah, it was a very good shot by him, but does not get the kill, I mean. And that's that, you know. Side of INAZUMA, they put the first round on board again, like every other map we've seen so far. But maybe VALOR can, you know, make a comeback in the second one. We have seen them do some work with those sheriffs.
at this stage, like, you can see that was a really good rush coming on down through from the side of Team INAZUMA. The fact that they opted to go in for such an aggressive play down towards the side of B main and just full set themselves from the angle of from Speedway basically meant that, hey, they don't need to worry about pretty much anything. They can just make that rush happen. They can easily go on down through. And that's a little bit of a question mark in my eyes, because I would have expected Saikovsky to be the one to play down towards that B side on the first initial pistol round, which is very much important. To have that Cypher on that pistol round towards that B side just nullifies any sort of an aggressive rush that could be going on down through. And they are in a pretty rough spot, to say the very least. But at the same time, looking at the buys here, Floki, it's going to be super interesting, because you can already see all the members of the side of the defense. They've opted to go in for those force buys with those Spectres and, of course, those Stingers and that Sheriff.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see if it actually does end up working out. If it doesn't, then yeah, I mean, he's going to be bleeding out for an extra round. But Saikovsky going to be flashed off his position. At least the side of VALOR survive with all 5 players. And that's going to be important, because they can actually come in for a retake over here now. SK Val can be area, but Buster is going to be able to trade out his teammate, but Fired Up and Knives that quickly shuts down any hopes of retaking this side the game. He's going to find one, but still, he's actually fighting an uphill battle, but he's actually climbing. I think he might be Sisyphus. Takes out Fired Up. Can he find a second kill? No, one is actually going to be able to shut them down, and that's the end of that. A Bulldog purchase by Cone. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, Cohen wanted to pick up that Bulldog because, honestly speaking, at this point, Floki, the Bulldog is actually such a strong weapon. Not only was the price decreased by 50 credits, but it's not much, but in the long haul of things, if the 50 credits can add up quite a lot with a lot of the other changes that came on down through for the other abilities, but also the fire rate got increased. So now the Bulldog is on par with a Vandal in a little bit of a way, because now the fire rate is much more comparable to that, but at the same time, you do need to hit those 2 shots at the bare minimum. But hey, it's a really good price to pay for 2,050 credits. So Cone getting a lot of value out of that Bulldog. But at the same time, I think the game expected Hunter to get that kill, but Hunter not being able to find that kill really did hurt the game's chances to try and survive in that round in particular. But at the same time, the game is gonna be good for a second. What? He's gonna be good for a couple of shots for himself. Spots out SK. Wow! But he wants to go in for a couple of more pixels from the back, and he's gonna be able to take down Omkar. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2 versus 2 situation with a spike being in literal no man's land. It's going to be the side of the attackers who need to go in for that push. They need to be the ones to try and maybe pick up that spike. But they have no information. They don't know what to expect with, and with only 55 seconds left on the clock, they need to make that push happen really quickly. Otherwise, this could just be a possible Thrifty round going on down through for the side of the defenders.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see that Pixels really wants to recover that weapon. He wants it in his hands, but he's still playing very, very patiently here. He's waiting. He knows that there's going to be some cheeky thing that the side of INAZUMA are going to attempt, and he would be right. Fine.
Oh, no.
He's going to get to run away, and SKO finds 1 kill.
Yeah,
and the
beautiful.
that vulnerable helping him out. They get the kill on SKO.
Try harder now.
Honestly, Floki, you have to give the Pixels to have that perfect level of gates. He's like, hey, I'm gonna place my Astral Star a little bit more further back. I have my suck, I have my gravity well. I can just easily just be like, hey, you wanna pick up that spike? Go for it. As soon as it got picked up, Pixels is like, time to pull them in. Gravity well time, boys. And one by one, they make that push happen. And because of that vulnerable going on down through SK, wow, he didn't know what to do. He needed to go in for a drive-by headshot and maybe get a little bit lucky with a couple of his bullets. But you cannot always rely on luck, ladies and gentlemen. And at that point, Pixels, he just outplayed the entirety of the side of Team INAZUMA. And they are going to be able to take this 50 round down onto their side. And the game, he's feeling himself on the map of Ascent here, ladies and gentlemen. And he is showing up massively. And he is showing exactly what he can do after what happened on the map of Fire.
Oh yeah, and Pixels, you can see he's running up for that push. He knows what to anticipate over here. This is a very important round to win for the side of VALOR. SK out, throw out that Lear. Doesn't really catch anyone just yet. Pixels still playing under cover of the shadows. Is going to be forced off by the shock jump, but takes out SK in the process. And now the spam through that wall comes through. He's going to use the gravity well, but there's a bit too late. And Tchaikovsky, well, he's going to try to clean up, but Cone actually ends up cleaning him up and fired up. Helps his buddy out as well. And now in a 3v2 situation, they may not have the best opportunities to win, but just as I say that, fired up, he's actually going to go forward, find a second kill for himself. Now what do we do?
In this 2 versus 2 situation, it's going to be Hunter going in for a couple of plays for himself. The game coming on down over on the other side, but fired up. He's going to play it cheeky. He wants to go in for that push, but he's not going to be able to fire out much. So Code, he expected Hunter to be right on the top end as he killed fired up, but still Code, he played those mind games, wanted to go in for a play for himself, but instead it's going to be Hunter being the better Hunter this time around. And with that, it's going to be 2-2 on the scorecards. And Team VALOR, after winning just 1 thrifty round, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's like deja vu all over again here, Floki. It's always 2-2 on the scoreboard to start everything off for every map that these 2 teams are facing off against one another.
Absolutely. Let's see what INAZUMA can do to break that chain and to break that curse, and see if they can actually pull ahead of the side of VALOR in this first half here, because it's been an uphill battle for them since the very beginning. They haven't been ahead once except for those first 2 rounds, and yeah, this time around, the difference maker is going to be the game. If he can find this initial opening pick, if SKY does choose to push, he could be setting his team up for success. And with that Viper Ball going down, that's exactly what might just happen here. But SKY is going to use that Lear completely block off any vision of the game. But you can see Hunter somehow took out SKY with a shock dance. That must have been an average lineup, because there's no other way that Rita dies from full HP. And the game, he still hasn't been revealed. They heard the dash, but they don't know where he's positioned, so it's play with that operator. Yeah. Well, looks like the game is going to be chiming in. Playing from the back of side, finds 2 picks. Buster's also going to find one before being traded out, but at the end of the day, well, no, Buster actually did not get traded out. It was Hunter who got traded out there, so never mind. I mean, it seems that curse won't be broken. VALOR put another round on board for themselves.
That was a really good play coming on down from the side of Hunter. You had to give it to this guy. Whenever it comes down to the map of Ascent, he has a lot of interesting lineups ready, and SK wow, he was just on the receiving end of a lot of pain. And at this stage, they need to be very careful the way they enter a lot of these choke points. Either they need to go in really quickly and not hesitate in their execution. Otherwise, they're going to be on the receiving end of a lot of hurt really fast and really quickly, and they need to be careful here down towards the side of mid as well, though it's going to be the game holding it down with the operator on this round in particular. He's looking to go in for a cheeky play. He's looking to try and go in for that first initial kill. The game, he's holding it down aggressively, but at the same time, the game! He actually glocks out, and he's actually going to be able to take down SK Wow as well, and I'm pretty sure that SK Wow is back at his table, and he's like, why? Why me? I did a lot of things in life. I did a lot of things properly. Why was I the one to die one out?
Oh man, busted.
One enemy
Okay,
remaining.
that's actually the dream use of that running back. They're able to trade out the body, get those kills, and that's the end of that. As the side of VALOR once again put another round on board for themselves. It was an eco from INAZUMA, so they shouldn't be getting too ahead of themselves, but still, rounds around, and they'll take that any day of the week. I mean, INAZUMA. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think the game is just looking to activate himself once again. You know, he's looking for that missing piece, and he's going like, what is it that I need to do just to be on point with my aim, like in that first game?
Stage Floki, it feels as though all of the matches, it's always, and I mean always, a 4-2 scoreline going in the favor of the side of Team VALOR every single time, no matter what happens. It's a deja vu at the level of consistency coming down from both of these teams. People in the chat are gonna say scripted, but this is not scripted at all. Both of these teams, they are just neck and neck when it comes down to their individual skill. But at the same time, the game, when he's feeling himself, he's just that tad bit up, like, you know, that nudge of 1%. That's pretty much that 1% happening right now.
Absolutely, and I'm not too sure who's going to take this round, but it looks like it seems that VALOR have this under control, and Pixels, well, he's going to find INAZUMA to chime in once again. The game is going to find Oka, Saikolsky's going to pick up SK Wow, and it just lambs to the slaughter.
What?
INAZUMA, one after the other. They walk into a butcher shop, and what's for dinner tonight? I think I smell lamb.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, like, Floki, the entirety of Team INAZUMA didn't even see a single player other than the game with an operator. They didn't spawn out a single player. Nightsera maybe spotted Pixels for a bare couple of milliseconds, but that's pretty much it. He saw nothing else. And as soon as that happened, the bodies just kept on dropping one by one, and the entirety of Team INAZUMA, it feels as though there's a massive disconnect between the players. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how to peek a lot of these angles, and it feels as though they're defaulting back to their old strategies over and over and over again, and this is not what's really helping them out. It's gonna be the game once again, chiming on down through with that operator being able to take down Cone, and he's literally getting away with murder. There is no one to try and stop this guy. There's no one to go in for that trade at the
One enemy
game.
remaining.
My goodness, what the hell is that headshot? Oh man, the game, I mean, not only is he... What? It is under 360 and takes out Nightsera, rubbing salt into the wounds of INAZUMA here.
Let me just give a big and massive sheesh coming out for the game here, ladies and gentlemen, because this guy is on another level today. He's just popping heads. What was that sheriff peek coming on down through? He just peeks for a bare couple of seconds, 0.5 seconds, and just does a beautiful counter strafe and just taps Nightsera into the next dimension. Floki?
I just want to see a replay of that 360 that he did. The updraft into the 360, into the headshot. I mean, that's about... yeah, that's about as cool as it gets. A bunch of swag from him, but Saikolsky is going to be able to find one. Well, the Jet
Oh my God,
actually forward, but turns around for the last reason, and Saikolsky is going to be like, thank you very much, your back looks very, very nice, but I prefer your head instead.
My God, ladies and gentlemen, it feels as though this is a massive breakdown going on down through from the side of Team INAZUMA, and it feels as though the game have gotten into their heads and they don't know what to expect, they don't know what to do. They want to go in left, they want to go in right, but Buster, he's not giving them a single inch as well with his bodies on his side. Pixels is going to be able to jam on it and get a shot down on the cone as well. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be back-to-back flawless rounds going on down through for the side of Team VALOR. And at this point, Floki, I'm just dumbfounded. What can the side of Team INAZUMA even do? I don't have an idea of what kind of advice I can give to them.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like INAZUMA just getting outplayed, plain and simple, as you know, I can't really pinpoint as to what one thing is going wrong for them. I just feel like they need to work on multiple things. They need to test the waters a little bit. They need to bait out this Jet operator, because otherwise they're not gonna win. I mean, you can see the sense of confidence with which these guys just walk forward. I mean, it's admiring, but it's also for lack of a better word, a little bit silly, because if you're just gonna show that much courage and just wide peek and just hope that the operator doesn't take you out, yeah, you're probably not right in the head. I mean, you need to test the waters out. You need to do it with 1 feet at a time, like 1 leg at a time, and yeah, like if you don't like what you feel, then just get the hell back. I mean, once again, the game is gonna be able to take out SK WoW. And once again, it's the lack of utility that's really concerning, because every single time they try to move forward, well, they just picked off by the operator. Now Buster playing this position, that's going to be the spike going down front side of INAZUMA as they have to play around Pizza now. No other option remaining for them. And all VALOR have to do is just sit tight, sit duck, and wait for the fight to come to them.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah. Also, it's just gonna be the game being like a literal turret with that operator holding down the fort, and he's like, "Hey, come on now and beat me. I want you to come and beat me every single time and every single day of the week, ladies and gentlemen." And with that, the cone, he's gonna be good for 1, but I don't think he's gonna be good for more than that. The game holding down the right hand side corner with that sheriff. He wants to go in for that shot, but cone, a beautiful flick of the wrist. He's gonna be able to take down 1 more. Maybe he's gonna be able to take down a second as well. But no, Hunter's not going to be giving anything away. He's like, I'm going to get revenge for my buddy's death. And he's going to be able to take it all the way down on their end. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the 8-2 scoreline that we were talking about previously, especially on the map of Ascent as well. You don't want to give that 8-2 scoreline, especially when you don't have enough money to go in for those proper buys. Ladies and gentlemen, the entirety of the side of Team INAZUMA, they are broken when it comes down to the terms of their eco. And them being forced onto an eco here is a massive dent to a lot of the leads that they could have had, because now there is no dream for them to try and take it down to a 9, take it down to an 8-4 scoreline. You need to try and at the bare minimum take it down to an 9-3.
Yeah.
But even that is going to be really difficult.
I mean, they do be a bit of a weird force buy. I see a Marshall picked up from SK WoW. Nice, completely whiffing from Fired Up. I'm not too sure what that was all about. But the game is going to show him how it's done. I mean, he's pulled his knives out, and he is also looking to play. Well, you've shown your hand here, INAZUMA. You've clearly said that, okay, loud and clear, we're going to do an 8A, guys. We're all the way over here. We've whiffed the knives, but we're going to go in anyway. Kind of respect that. That takes a bit of courage and a lot of faith in yourself, but let's see if that is actually well-founded, or if it's just going to be, for lack of a better word, sheer stupidity. Well, Pixel's gonna peek out, he's gonna find Omkar, and SK WoW looking to make a dent into Pixel's HP. Does connect 1 shot, but that's about it. Pixel puts him out of his misery. The game might just end up being taken down here, but the dash saves him in the nick of time, and he still has the knives to fall back on that shock cut. It should be 19 HP, but he's still standing strong. Oh my god, the game. Well,
Last round
I don't
in
think
the
it's
half.
that wrong. I think it's good old Chamanprash. You know why, parents?
My god.
It's so that we could play like the game does. They knew the day was gonna come. They knew the day would come where we would defy their wishes, where we wouldn't play to their wishes and fancies, and they just wanted to make sure we were independent, we were hyped up, we were ready to take on life, and yeah, I mean, this is what a spoonful of Chamanpraj does for you every single morning.
Wish we got sponsored by Chamanpraj at this one, because that is the biggest sellout that I've ever heard in my entire career, Loki. But moving on down forward, that was an incredible play coming on down from the game, and this was absolutely beautiful. But at the same time, a couple of more shots are going to be going on in, and it's going to be Saikovsky being able to shut down SK WoW straight through that smoke. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the side of the attackers actually being able to get down over into the side and get a Viper Spit down for themselves at the bare minimum. And with this Viper Spit already moving on down, they should have the advantage at the bare minimum to try and take this round away off onto their side once again. But Buster, he still has a lot of flashes. He still can work out a lot of magic for himself, and he's gonna be able to find one for himself as well. Takes down Fire Up Psychos. He's gonna be good for another one. And Code, he's on his lonesome with only 30 HP and a dream at the game. He's hunted him down. He's going to left. He's going to right, and there is no way he can pull out that Hunter's Fury and try and survive for long enough. Shots are gonna be going on in. Code's gonna be able to survive with only 14 HP, but the round is already over. 10-2 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen, to end off the first half. And Team VALOR, they come out of the gates kicking, and they are ready to take away the map of Ascent on their favor and close out this set on a 2-1 score.
Yeah, let's not forget that if the side of VALOR, for a change, do end up winning this pistol round, then they are going to be up to 12, and the only option remaining at that point for the side of INAZUMA is going to be 10 consecutive wins. I don't know how much luck you need to win those 10 rounds in a row. But let's hope for the side of INAZUMA, they're able to shut them down on this very first round and at least buy them some time before their inevitable doom. I mean,
This point here, Floki, what can the side of team INAZUMA even do to try and bring it back onto their end? It all really does depend on their defensive side, but this defensive side is going to be really difficult because when you consider the raw potency of a lot of the abilities coming on down through from the side of Team VALOR, this should be what they need. It's going to be nice they're getting a kill down on a Buster, but immediately gets traded on by Pixels on the back end. Shots are going to be going on down in as well, and with that, with the plant now going on down through the post plant, it's going to be really clean and really beautiful from the side of Team VALOR. And will the side of Team INAZUMA be able to take it away? Is the real question.
okay, Eskimo's gonna find one kill to start things off, and Psykowski's gonna find another fight up, gets a trade, but Psykowski chimes in again, makes it a 2v2. Omkar will finally put him out of his misery, but instead the game, he's still alive, 20 HP, 9 bullets, but it's not enough. Omkar takes him down, and there you go. I hear a huge sigh of relief being breathed from the side of INAZUMA, and rightfully so. It's a well-earned one. They really needed this pistol just to buy them a little bit of time over here in this next half.
Yeah, with this pistol round now in their favor, they will be able to take a little bit of a sigh of relief and be like, hey, we're still in the running. Maybe we can pull off a possible comeback. And hey, you never know, because we have seen Team VALOR drop the ball really heavily when they have a massive lead down on their end. So we cannot count the side of Team INAZUMA out just yet. Primarily because of one thing, I really want to see that 7-7-7 scoreline down here over on the group standings, and see which team is going to be heading on down forward, because at that point it's all about consistency coming out from all of these teams, and which team were more consistent down in over on their previous matches because of those round differences. So at this point, Floki, do you think that Team INAZUMA have a chance, or is it just a little bit of a far-fetched story for them to try and clutch this one up?
I don't know. It really comes down to the first buy round, right? If they win that first buy round, they get a little bit more of a breather, but even then, they're on the back foot here. I'd say if they were to win this, it's probably going to go to overtime, or at least it's going to be another. VALOR are going to be able to put up at least an 11th round on board for themselves. But yeah, I don't know, man. A man can dream, right? I've seen comebacks. I've seen comebacks big and small, and hey, if INAZUMA are able to win this, then the fruits of victory is just going to taste even sweeter because they're going to be snatching it right out of the jaws of Team VALOR. With that said, being realistic, no way. I mean, there's a snowball chance in hell that INAZUMA actually are able to make this comeback, in my opinion. And if they do manage to make this comeback, then, I mean, I don't know. Everything I know about Valorant is going to be turned upside down on its head. But maybe that's actually what's needed. Who knows?
Yeah, at this point, I think that it's all really coming on down to whether or not the side of Team VALOR can actually be able to keep their consistency that they've shown over on their own attacking side. Now moving on down, more over on their own defensive side, sorry, down over onto their attacking side. So at this stage, looking at the scorecards though here, Floki, just look at the game. 21-6. This guy has been 360 headshotting people with a sheriff. How do you stop this on the attacking side when he has a gun in his hand?
Great question. I think the answer is avoid him.
Yeah,
What else are you gonna do? I mean, this man is literally insane. The only person I've seen so far who's done a 360 and actually gotten a sheriff headshot to follow through, like, absolutely insane.
Yeah, you have to give it to the game to be one of those players that can consistently bring his A game down to the table every single time. And he's just ready for it. And I really want to see if he's actually going to pull out an operator on the attacking side, or he's going to be sticking to his rifles, because he is that strong with an operator on the defensive side, and he was not really being a turret. He was actually pushing it down forward, SK Rossi style, and trying to go in for those aggressive peaks with an operator, and he is just going to be so clean every single time here, ladies and gentlemen. But at the same time, I really want to see what the side of Team INAZUMA can do to try and circumvent the game and maybe stop him as much as he possibly can, because as you can already see, SK Wow, he's been having a really rough time and he's not able to show up as much as we know him to show up on. Because initially when SK Wow made his first initial debut, him picking up that jet, he shredded the entire server with his raw one taps. He didn't even go in for sprays there, ladies and gentlemen. He just tapped his gun once. He just tapped his mouse button and he was already getting those kills every single time. And I'm really hoping that he's able to recollect himself and try and bring his team back from the edge of defeat. Because on this 10-3 scoreline, they don't really have a lot of room to make mistakes, because one small mistake is what Team Valor need to pull off a possible thrifty and get the momentum back in their favor almost immediately.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen Valor do that. We've seen them get those sheriff round victories, somehow just snatch it right out of the jaws of INAZUMA, right after INAZUMA themselves have won a force buy. So, yeah, the force buy rounds are definitely, ones to watch out for. I hope for the sake of INAZUMA that Valor aren't really able to clutch it out, because, I mean, their hearts are just going to sink, right? Imagine winning the initial pistol round and then losing the subsequent round after, just because you got one tap by sheriffs. That never, ever feels good. But hey, on the brighter side, if Valor are actually able to win this, then they get another round on board for free, and that's going to be with the Vandals and the Phantoms and all the rifles in the world. So, yeah, I think that INAZUMA, it's in their best interest to just stay on their tippy toes and not really bite off more than they can chew at any given time. Just pick your fights, pick your battles, pick your parts of the map where you think you want to take the fight to the enemy team, and then just do that.
Without playing it.
I remember you asked me a question. My apologies. I forgot to answer it. You did say the operator for the Jet on the side of Valor. I feel like the game is one of those players who could go for that, but what really are the merits? I mean, when you think about it, right? Like, that pretty much leaves only Buster to open things up on maps. It just leaves a Hunter to back up his teammates. And I feel like by having the Jet on the operator, you actually lose a pretty significant, a pretty valuable entry fragger, or at least a distraction creator of sorts, so that you can come into a site, you can just at least get in there and use all the space that Jet makes. So yeah, I hope that for their sake they don't actually use the operator, but if they do, then I'm gonna be surprised, because I don't know how the game's gonna make it work.
Game is one of those people that I always say that can make pretty much any gun in his hand look like an operator, pretty much because of the way he always is able to get those one taps and those one shot kills every single time. And as you just stated, yeah, the operator will just make their strategies a lot more one dimensional instead of the dynamic plays that they can actually go for, with the game being on that rifle. But that's one thing for the side of Team Valor. We can talk a lot more about those winning teams, but at the same time, let's talk a little bit more about the team who have their backs against the wall, who are at that 7-round disadvantage. And I want to put a lot of the highlights onto NiGHTS, because we haven't really seen a Viper pickup come on down over on the map of Ascent. And I feel as though this double controller setup that they have on their side is one of the primary reasons why they're losing out on a lot of the rounds. It feels as though they don't have enough utility to circumvent the utility coming on down through from the side of Pixels, and of course Buster, who is on that Phoenix.
Absolutely, and you can already look over to the side of Valor. Look at their ideas. I see an Ares being picked up. I see... Okay, no, wait, never mind. That's actually INAZUMA. Yeah, but if you look over to the side of Valor, they have Sheriffs picked up, Classics on Hunter and Buster, so they're probably not going to be working with that one-tap potential at the very least. But the game, he's having a good time. He's just jamming it out to the beats of the Ares. Well, for the time being, oh my goodness. Yeah, they just walked into a meat grinder, Valor. Every single place that they went, there was nothing waiting for them but death in the game. Probably going to be taken off by that shotgun. If not, the 80s is going to chime in. And Omkar is actually the one who got that final bullet in and got the kill. I'm pretty sure Kone's going to be feeling pissed about him having stolen that.
Yeah, that's gonna be hurting just a tiny little bit, but at the same time, they're gonna be really happy down in the long run as well, because you do need to remember something here, ladies and gentlemen. When you get killed by an Ares, that's like a massive mental blow in the long run. You're gonna be like, hey, did you just pick up an Ares and get me killed? So Team Valor, they're gonna be feeling the mental pressure just a tiny little bit, but hey, at the same time, you know for a fact that they don't have the best record when it comes out of the pistol round. So here's where the real fun is about to start, with the rifles now coming on down through for the side. Team Valor.
Absolutely. Ares may not deal a lot of damage to the chest, but it does deal a lot of damage to the mind, and that's what you're really looking for. Just to throw the enemy team off guard. Buster, only one key on his keyboard, and that's W, and he's pressing it right now just to try and get that initial kill. Lucky to be alive. I will still find a kill despite the paranoia blinding him. Omkar's gonna get a trade, but Pixels. My goodness, what is up with this man? Just shutting down every single one on that side. Hunter playing the flank is gonna find fired up, and all of a sudden, I see a coffin. It's closing around INAZUMA, and the final nail is just waiting to be hammered in.
guess who it is who's doing that? It's gonna be the game. Nixera is been tagged up in the game. Well, he's gonna hammer that final nail in and lower them into their grave as INAZUMA gets taken out. And once again, this is what I was talking about. I mean, you know, INAZUMA, it's really about those buy rounds. It's not as much about your ecos or your pistols. It's just working on strats and a read of what the enemy team is doing when they have those weapons up and running.
Felt as though in the last round, the entirety of Team INAZUMA, they were very scared to go in for a peek. Because I expected Cone to go in for that immediate swing, play off of the contact being made by Omkar, because Omkar had no reason to die there. And the fact that Buster actually got a kill down onto Cone, it was absolutely incredible. There is no reason why Buster should have survived. There is no reason why he should have gotten that kill. And they all should have opted to go in for those peaks properly. They're playing it way too scared. They're giving too much space down towards the side of Team VALOR. It is very much understandable, but you cannot respect your opponents this much that you allow them to dictate the pace of a lot of these different engagements. And that's what's really going to be hurting them down in the long run as well. But at the same time, fired up. And SK, wow, they're going to be those difference makers. They're going to be opting to go in for that shot. And SK, wow, only thing I can say is just wow. Shots were clean left, shots were going in right, and he's gonna be able to flick everyone down one by one. And SK, wow, he's that difference maker down for his own team. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's just gonna be Hunter moving on down over to a 1 versus 2 situation. But at the same time, Hunter is like, nah, I'm gonna fan myself off, I'm gonna cool down. That was a little bit too much for me, man. I just need to take a little bit of a breather, save my gun, and then go down over to the next round.
Yeah, he's just gonna go hide in the corner and hope that he can take that Vandal into the next round, which is gonna be an eco from the side of VALOR. Might as well just try to get that Vandal going. This
30
big
seconds
flank, though, they
left.
might actually not see it coming out. Okay, never mind, they actually do, because he's like, okay, Nixera's like, you know what, if you're not gonna go to Garden, I'm just gonna hold down Heaven. Oh, I hope that's fine with you, Omkar. He's like, yep, that's just fine and dandy with me, so... Hunter, he tried going for the big raid play. He does still have time for it if he can find that first kill, but it's gonna be
10
clutch.
seconds left.
And he might power. The answer's gonna be no. Nixera is like, nope, not today, Hunter, not today.
Yeah, Nixera got into the head of Hunter, and he was like, hey, maybe he's just going in for a massive wraparound play. That's what I would have done personally. And this is what you need to consider, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when you're in those clutch situations, just imagine what you would have done personally yourself. And Nixera is like, hey, I would have gone in for a massive wraparound play, moving around through the entire map, go down through that B side and head on down over to the side of A Heaven instead of making a rotation play from the side of A Short where I would have made a lot more noise. And with that play going on down through, it was the play that they needed to get themselves stable down onto the rounds once again. But still, this is a tall order here, Floki. It's just going to get a lot more difficult moving on down the line as well, because on this 11 and 5 scoreline, you don't really have a lot of space to make a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, Buster is making that push happen. He is so aggressively down forward. He's actually going to be able to get a kill down on the fire and also get his run it back available as well. He has a lot of room to work with. He spots out the head of SK Wow, and with that, he should be able to get this first initial pickoff, but he doesn't back on off, and SK Wow is going to be the one to take him on down almost immediately.
Okay, Hunter's gonna find, well, Hunter's not gonna find anything apart from a few bullets in his chest and some broken ribs, but still a 3-4 situation here for the side of VALOR. Not very doable, mind you. They don't have a lot of HP remaining on the game. The only player who had a remote chance of pulling this round back is dead. And SK Wow, yeah, he is just devouring all the service enemies that he kills, and yeah, he's going on a rampage. He's snowballing out of control. Might have been a bit too late considering the round difference, but hey, if he believes that there's still a chance, then why not? Absolutely, go for it. Tchaikovsky coming in with a huge flank, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much apart from getting one initial pick.
30 seconds left.
Remember what I was saying about the side of SK Wow? He needs to show up massively and maybe go in for a possible comeback for his team because he needs to be that difference maker for their side. That's exactly what he's doing. So I'm going to put my leg up on the chair once again. No, sorry, leg up on the table, sorry. And I'm going to relax and I'm going to let SK Wow just tear down through the entire server. But
10
just as I
seconds
was...
left.
I'm going to highlight this right now, and I'm going to regret it almost instantly because I'm very sure at the next round, my caster skirts is going to kick on in, and it's going to be the side of Team VALOR taking it down over onto match.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I'm not going to say anything or make any predictions because these games are frankly insane. INAZUMA somehow still surviving, hanging on by a thread here. And I'm not too sure if, you know, I mean, VALOR are starting to recognize that they are getting a little bit lax in terms of how they're playing. In their head, they still have a big lead, and they aren't wrong. They do. But the question is, why even mess around with that big lead? I mean, that lead should instead be an insurance policy, a fail-safe, not really something that you sit on and be like, oh yes, this is very, very nice. I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. No, don't enjoy the fruits of your labor just yet. The fruits of your labor guarantee you against emergencies and against situations that you don't foresee. Well, this time around, fired up. Was foreseeing that someone would peek him towards A main, but he's wrong. In a way, because no one really pushes forward. Buster says, no, I don't really want to go ahead and find out if there's an operator first there. Waits for that poison cloud to time out and then starts to push forward with it. And clear out Winery with the hot hands as well, and now it's all down to Nizera to hold it. He does delay the push with the snake bite, but I mean, VALOR, they're just very, very keen on going towards A.
Playing it slow and they're playing it smart, and I like this. They don't want to use that running back because primarily you never want to use that running back unless you have that automatic weapon in your hands. But here is where the real problem is about to start. They're on an eco round and they're playing down the clock a little bit too much. Things could go horribly wrong really quickly. Looking at Fired Up's position, he's in the perfect spot to get a couple of collateral kills for himself, but it deals to all the members of the side of Team VALOR. Instead, they're going to making a push down towards the side of mid and making a play happen from the angle of Market. But look at all the members down towards the side of B. They're holding on down inside of the side, and they're going to be walking on down onto a death trap here, Floki. Look at what's in the hand of that Sova. It's going to be an Odin, and Code just slaps a bullet into the forehead of the game. That's going to be one. That's going to be two. Pixels is going to be good for another one, but he spots out Omkar. Omkar needs to die here, and he dies. This is already over. It's going to be a hand coming on down off from the side of the Cypher as well. Shots are going to be raining on down left. Shots are going to be raining on down right, but no one gets sub SK. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter's gonna be good for one, but he's not gonna be good for more than that. Actually, no, never mind. Hunter's gonna be good for two, and SK Wow and Hunter, they're gonna be going on down over on a Mexican stand-up. They're like, you stay there, I'm gonna stay here. We never saw each other, nothing ever happened. Let's head on down over to the next round and have a fight from there then on.
Now, mind you, Fired Up still has money for the operator, so he's not too worried about giving that kill away. But the sad news is that if they lose this round again, then he probably is going to have to eco and maybe buy a rifle instead. So, yeah, a very important round for the rest of the game for INAZUMA. Also important for the side of VALOR, but they can afford to be a little bit more relaxed and loose with, you know, how they approach this and when they want to win. I mean, I say when they want to win as if they can just turn on the switch and win, but maybe this is the opening that they were looking for. Hunter with the Hunter's Fury is going to find out Nizera, and Nizera ends up being taken out. That Cypher camera did tag Fired Up, and Fired Up, he's still playing short, but that wall, like you mentioned, it's going to help them plant and get back for free.
That wall is so cheeky as well, but at the same time, Tchaikovsky, he needs to be careful because he's going into the waiting arms of Fired Up, who spotted out the gun barrel, and Tchaikovsky, he needs to play this smart. If he goes in for this push, it's already over for him, and Tchaikovsky just needs to go in for that play, and instead it's going to be Fired Up. Being the percentage of player who's going to be able to take him on down out. Buster, he has a couple of flashes to work with. He's going to be going in for a couple of shots for himself, but instead it's going to be Fired Up getting the percentage of pickup. Look at the game's positioning. He's going to be alive. He's going to be kicking, but that spray is just not going to be there. The game, he had the perfect position and the perfect play to try and get this round out for themselves, but at the very end of it all, a couple of whip shots from the game. Yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot in the long run.
Absolutely, that physically hurt me. I mean, the few images that can, you know, physically harm you and cause you pain, but this was one of those moments. Unfortunately, the game just got a little bit too eager. Was too eager, in fact, to get that double. So eager that he didn't even finish off Fired Up, and Fired Up just turned around and just quick scoped him. Nothing he could do about it.
Was that a no scope or a quick scope?
I'm pretty sure that was quick scope. There's no way that's a no scope, right? I mean, we're gonna have to get his perspective if we want to find that out. But yeah, VALOR, well, they're gonna try to make their way towards B, but that is a futile attempt because Nizera has already ulted that B main area.
Yeah, this Viper Spit is just what they needed to try and get that little bit of an advantage down over onto their side once again. But at the same time, here, Floki, you do need to remember that when it comes down to eco, the side of Team Valor, they're hurting massively. This is their last buy round once again before they're being forced onto another ego, but at the same time, he scored. He got the phone number of Hunter, and he's gonna be able to send them down out almost immediately, but at the same time, far enough does get another kill down towards the back end. The game able to upgrade down towards that operator, maybe take it down to a bare minimum of this 3 versus 4 situation, but this 3 versus 4 situation is not favorable out whatsoever. A lot of the pressure is gonna be now falling down over onto the shoulders of Pixels to get at the bare minimum of 1 kill down here. At least he's gonna be able to find one. This is gonna be the thing that they needed, but Omkar gets the first initial immediate trade. And with that, it's once again down on a man disadvantage for the side of the attackers. They don't really have a lot to work with in the game. Trying to hold it down strong. He's gonna be able to survive, but instead Saikovsky's not gonna be good for another one, and Omkar just peeks up, and he's gonna be able to take down the game as well. And with that, it's gonna be another run on the board for the side of Team INAZUMA, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, Floki, I think your caster's curse is working down over on the side of Team Valor. You said that there is no chance that the side of Team INAZUMA have a way of trying to go in for a possible comeback, but they have clawed their way back from an 11-4 scoreline over to an 11-9. What do you have to say for yourself, and what are you going to say to Team Valor when they message you on Instagram this time around?
Well, I will tell them that I skipped on dinner tonight because I'm eating my words right now. But I don't know how INAZUMA have done it. Time and time again. Every single time it's looked bleak, it's looked hopeless. They've just opened up Pandora's box and somehow pulled out a win time and time again. That was, if I'm not wrong, that was, okay, never mind. This is going to be a force buy coming in from the side of VALOR as they're starting to get a little bit frustrated. This is the VALOR that I remember casting. I mean, these guys are looking to just once again make that same play, but Buster's caught out in the open as he tries to put down his firewall, and SK Wow is just killing every single person that comes in front of him. It's only going to be the game surviving in an impossible 1v5 with 51 HP to his name. He is most certainly done for. Might be good for 1. Takes out INAZUMA, but at 16 HP, there's literally nothing else he can do.
And he does get that 1 headshot down on the SK Wow, but how much will 1 headshot help you down in the long run? Not much, as SK Wow still has those 2 years. He's going to be able to use it down perfectly and get those kills for himself. And with that, it's going to be another buy round coming on down through from the side of Team Valor. And to say what happened in the previous round, it was not really a force buy. It was actually a semi-buy coming on down through from the side of Team Valor because they've lost out on so many of their rounds consecutively. They have that loss streak bonus on full for them. But at the same time here, Floki, the fact that they have such a massive loss streak bonus is one of the primary reasons why I'm very much worried for them. It feels as though they have dropped the ball once again, same as what happened in the map of Pine. They're getting a little bit too overzealous. They are underestimating their opponents. And at this stage, on this 11-10 scoreline, Team INAZUMA, they're pulling off the impossible. They're making the impossible happen right here and right now, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, the side of Team Valor, they need to step up massively because if they lose out on this round right here and right now, it's already over. There is no way they can try and go in for a possible comeback in the following.
Oh yeah, and SKO with the Empress just being such a thorn in the side, but the game is going to take him down. Mike is going to find Pixels elsewhere, still making it a 4v3 for his team, but Hunter pulls it back, makes it a 3v3 again, and now Saikovsky. 8-pointer here is looking quite fired up. This is a shot, and Hunter is going to be able to take him down, making it a 3v2. Finally, the side of Valor chiming back, looking to take that 12th round on board for themselves, but the spike carrier has been killed. Regardless, the game will find Omkar, turn that round around on its head, and Valor will put that round on board. Match point for them. At last, a long and arduous journey it has been for them, but finally, they're 1 round away from victory. They can smell it in the air. They know what's cooking, and hopefully, they're able to see it through.
Stage, I'm really hoping that we don't see a choke coming on down through from the side of Team Valor, because as soon as they have that taste of victory, it feels as though they don't latch onto it. They're letting it go a little bit too much. They're squeezing it a little bit too hard and pretty much killing it before they even get a proper hold of it. And at this stage, on this 12-10 scoreline, this is where everything is going to start up at, ladies and gentlemen. It's either Team Valor close it out here, or it's already over for them. They have no way of going in for a proper win on the following round if Team INAZUMA are able to take them out here. And with the shock darts now raining on in and so much information being given away from the side of Team Valor, they're on the back foot. They are playing it a lot more slower, and you can see the tension coming on down from the players and their movements as well. They can feel the pressure, and they know for a fact that their backs are against the wall. It's either go big or go home for them. Otherwise, there is no way they're going to be getting themselves down over onto playoffs. Team Valor, they need to make their stand here, and they need to make it right here and right now.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no way on earth they can afford to give up this game. They need to win this map. They need to win this series if they want to see the light of day. And once again, it's going to be that cheeky cosmic divide that he loves so much. Nike, though, this time around is more than ready for it. That plant is going to be instantly denied as Pixels, reconsidering his options in his life and considering, what sins he committed to be in this sort of situation.
30 seconds.
Oh, Nike,
Oh,
he's not able to get the kill. Oh, his gun battle does not stick out from the wall, and Eskimo is going to be taken down in return. The game takes him out. So the fuse is coming through though. Nightshade is actually going to stick it. Well, can they actually do it over here? It's going to be a bit of a hard one. They're in a 4v5 situation, and there you go. The recon that comes through. Fired up. He is good enough to find Bustle. That's hot hands being taken away.
This is cool, Tchaikovsky.
Yep, Tchaikovsky. Well, he might be able to find up. No, he does not. The game is actually not going to be able to take him out. It's all down to Pixels.
Out of the charges.
Hunter is here as well, but the defuse has
Yeah,
not
it's over.
been tapped just yet. It is
It's
over
over.
at last.
Attackers
Veto
win.
will finally do it. Take their spot in that top 4, and once again, INAZUMA, well, they fought hard, they fought long, but in the end, the side of Valor, the advantage that they had accumulated earlier on, just made sure that their failsafe had a failsafe, which also had a failsafe.
Yeah, too many fail safes, but at the very end of it all, it was really close here. And I'm very sure that if Nightshade was able to deny the plan coming on down through from Pixels, it would have been so perfect. But Loki, my heart, it's hurting after I saw what happened to Nightshade. I don't
Oh,
know how
yeah.
I feel anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a little bit of an Astra elbow sticking out of
Yep.
that wall, but yeah, unfortunately, Nightshade was not able to get the kill, and in the end, he ended up getting traded out. Very, very unfortunate for him. Just really feels bad. I mean, just imagine being the Viper in that situation. Be like, guys, I almost got this kill. Wait, what? It doesn't work like this? Shouldn't my barrel be sticking through and him being, shot down? That was actually some next level thinking by Nightshade, but unfortunately, he just couldn't see it through. And at the end of it all, they were able to take him down. And yeah, I mean, Nightshade just got dropped.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt quite a lot. But let's head on now over onto the match highlights to get a bird's eye view of this entire set and try and break down what the side of Team Valor did wrong. To at like they were able to close out this map, but at
They
this
shouldn't
stage,
be happy with the
yeah,
performance.
the fact that this had got over to a 13 and 10 scoreline, this should not have really happened. And I really do give a lot of props down towards the side of Team INAZUMA to capitalize on a lot of the mistakes coming on down through from the side of Team Valor. Every single time we saw Team Valor opt to go in for a lot of those aggressive rushes and a lot of those aggressive pushes, they were not really coordinating down together as a team. They were going in for a lot more of those individual plays. Their defensive side, absolutely beautiful and so clean, but their attacking side, it felt as though there was a massive disconnect between a lot of the players. And at the very end, it was the Astra and the Astra utility that got them the win. And I'm really thinking of a situation where Team INAZUMA had that Astra. This would have been a completely different ball game, and they probably would have just won out this entire set and head themselves over onto playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the bigger reasons why INAZUMA struggled really on that defense. Omen is, usually the saying goes, jack of all trades, king of one, but Omen is king of none. I don't even think he's a jack of all trades. He's a very bad jack at that because he doesn't really have a lot of ways to entry. He doesn't really have a lot of ways to set his teammates up. When it comes to just putting down smokes, yeah, he has smokes, but they aren't as good as they used to be. They take a lot of time to recharge, and if you commit 2 smokes right at round start, then you best be relying on your paranoia and your aim, because it's the only way on earth you're going to have impact. And yeah, I feel like if INAZUMA were to switch over to the Astra at some point, I agree with you. This match would be a million times closer, but they don't. They end up picking up the Omen. And even though they almost managed to make the comeback on offense, I think still somewhere or the other, INAZUMA, while they should be happy about the fact that they were able to make that comeback, they should also at the same time be disappointed that they just gave away 10 rounds to the side of Team Valor on offense. It's probably something that they should work on.
Yeah, at the very end of the day, the silver lining is that Team Valor is going to be the one heading on down over onto playoffs. And at the very least, Team INAZUMA, they're going to be happy they're not being relegated moving on down forward. We're going to talk a lot more about this as we do head on down over onto the analyst desk. But at the same time, congratulations towards the side of Team Valor. You deserve this win. It was a long and hard-fought victory. And At the very end, as Floki does put up a cheers with his own Red Bull in his hand, you can also put up your own cheers by scanning the QR code that is right down here on the bottom right side of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a can of Red Bull, put up a cheers for the side of Team VALOR because they deserve it. It was a long and hard-fought victory for them. But at the same time, we still have a lot more to break down, and we're going to be heading on down over into the nitty-gritty of this matchup as we head on down over onto the analyst desk and bring back our boy Assassin to get a little bit more of an emphasis on what really happened and what the group standings are going to be like. And we're going to be back with you real shortly on the analyst desk with the TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen. We'll catch you in just a little bit.
Welcome back to the analyst desk of the TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radio. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Assassin Force, and joining me on the desk, casters and analysts, Floki and Aggressive. Well, after that intense VO3, I'm definitely sure that you guys have a lot to talk about that specific match. So let's quickly head on over towards the map, Veto, and see how exactly everything panned out. I mean, it went all the three maps, and it shouldn't have, by the way, in my opinion. But then Team INAZUMA, they pulled their weight in map number 2. Let's start off with map number 1, by the way. Aggressive, give me your thoughts on the map of Haven. What exactly went wrong for INAZUMA?
The map of Haven in particular, in my eyes, for INAZUMA, it was a massive disconnect between the players. They were not really able to coordinate together as a team as much, and we're going to be heading on down over the highlights soon enough so you can get a visual representation of it. Looking at the minimap already, you can see that it was just not there as much as the side of Team VALOR. Team VALOR, they felt much more coordinated down together. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They knew their roles. And also the game, he was just popping off constantly every single time. But from the side of Team INAZUMA, there were not really a lot of highlight players. Yes, they were all very consistent, but when it came down to the very end of it all, someone needed to step up. Someone needed to take the game and be on his level every single time to go up against him. But no one really stepped up. And SK WoW, he had a much more of the slower start in comparison to the game or Buster. And not having that level of consistency on map number 1 really did hurt them down in the long run, allowing the side of Team Valor to take a 13-8 victory. But at the same time, the rounds that they were able to win out on from the side of Team INAZUMA were very admirable indeed, because they carried over the momentum of the rounds that they did win from map number 1 over onto map number 2.
I mean, map number 2 was once again, Valor leading, but then Inazuma, they just brought it all back. What went wrong over there for Valor, Floki?
A lot. I think they just let their foot off the gas pedal and just stopped respecting Inazuma. They were like, we just, guys, we got this. We have to be 4 rounds ahead. How do we lose this? And then it turned to, guys, we're 2 rounds ahead. How do we lose this? And then it turned to, guys, we just need 1 round to make it to 12. How do we lose this? And Inazuma eventually answered that question like, well, here's how, Valor, glad you asked. And then we moved on to Ascent. So Ascent was once again, I mean, it started off looking like Inazuma is going to be quickly done and dusted, but kudos to Inazuma for actually putting up 9 rounds against Valor. Not going to take anything away from them. I think they played that very, very well. But if they could just, chime in with that same performance somewhere on defense, or maybe just switch their lineup up, pick up an Astra, for God's sake, for crying out loud, I think they'll have a much easier time. I don't think the Omen is cutting it, and I feel like it's something that the side of Inazuma should probably focus on for Season 2.
Well, to be completely honest, I agree with you on that Inazuma can't really take anything away from them. In map number 2, they put up such a massive performance, especially fired up with that operator as well.
Yeah.
Every single time shutting down Valor whenever they were trying to move it over towards the B side or towards the A side as well. Fired Up did quite a lot, and I guess, he deserves all the love and support coming his way as well, alongside his entire team. So Team Inazuma, good performance right there, but unfortunately, you guys weren't able to close things out on the map of Ascent. Now let's move on over towards the group standings and see what exactly is happening over there, because during the pre-analysis, Aggressive did walk us through the entire thing on what exactly can we expect to be group standings out of the specific match, taking into consideration both the teams winning and losing. So I guess it is going to be Team Inazuma to stay on that 6th spot, and it is going to be Team Valor to jump straight onto the 4th spot with 4 wins, 3 losses, and a total of 8 points. Aggressive, what are your thoughts on the group standings, buddy?
I'm just a little bit sad that we don't see the 7-7-7. And at that point, it's all about which team were able to get a lot more rounds on their favor on their specific maps. But hey, at the same time, like, this is a lot more, you don't
Black
get that
and
level
white.
of suspense, but
Yeah.
you're going to have that sigh of relief. Be like, hey, I know exactly what to expect. My favorite team's going to be heading on down forward. And the silver lining for the side of Tempest and Team Inazuma are that they're not going to be relegated. They're still going to have a chance to come on back here over on the group stages and keep the fight going over onto Season 2, which the registrations are live for, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure to check the links down in the description below. But Team Valor, congratulations to them. They deserve this win. 4-3-8 on the scorecard. Long, hard-fought victory coming on down from them. And the number 4 position is going to be going on to their side.
I like the entire numbering as well, right? Like Valor with 8 points, Tempest with 7 points, and Inazuma
Oh,
with
yeah.
6 points. And then there's Simple with 5 points. So it's kind of like, in a constant sequence as well. But yeah, all of that aside, Valor, once again, congratulations for getting that 4th spot as well for yourself. I guess with that, Valor, they have finished all of their games as well. I guess Tempest and Inazuma have finished all their games. Simple Insignia, they've all got their games done and dusted as well. I guess absolutely everyone. Yeah, Group A is done. Godlike have finished their 7 games. Global Esports have finished their 7 games. So yeah, the entire group has finished all of their 7 games, and this is going to be the final Group A standings of the group stages, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, behold the mighty Titans on the top, and then Simple and Insignia, unfortunately, are gonna get relegated as well. Tempest and Izuma, they're gonna survive as well. So yeah, it is definitely a moment to rejoice for all of the top 4 teams as well as the 5th and the 6th spot. But still, I mean, top 4 is just another celebration whatsoever. Floki, what are your thoughts on the group standings, and what do you think about the entire change?
I feel like Valor have a long way to go. I mean, earlier in the day, I said that, if they actually make it into the top 4, they are a team that has potential to take the top players. Now, I don't feel so sure. Looking at how they tend to slack off when they switch sides and after they get a huge lead, I think this team has a bit of a discipline problem. I think they have a bit of a leadership problem. They need some captain to keep them in check and be like, guys, stop being lax. I know we are ahead. This just means we should crush the competition and end the damn game. It doesn't mean you sit back, kick back, relax, sip pina coladas, and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna win the next round. Oh no, we will win the next round. Oh, no, we've always got the next round. No, I think you need to crack that whip and be a bit more disciplined if you're Valor. And if you do that, well, who knows? Force One, Global Esports, whoever else you face up against, they could be in for a run for their money.
That's true. I mean, Team Valor, they definitely have a lot when it comes down to, uh, getting all of that experience and that discipline in and just keeping that calm, cool composure in a specific match. I mean, we could see a lot of panic with the capital K moment happening inside of their games as well. And that is sort of what led INAZUMA to go ahead and get that victory on the map of Bind. But yeah, I mean, Team Valor, I agree to you on the fact that they have a long way to go. Let's just hope that they can just be consistent enough with this specific roster. We do see a trend among all of these players from the side of Team Valor that they constantly go ahead and change their rosters, and they have a lot of shift happening in and around the team. So let's hope that that doesn't happen, because one of the key components, in a specific team, a specific esports team, not only an esports team, even a sports team, is that is consistency. So if you can just maintain that specific consistency, then I guess you guys can just go ahead and grab a lot of victories as well in a lot of other tournaments, including the Gauntlet. Speaking of which, you guys can go ahead and check out the links down in the description below, coming out from our sponsors, WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. Check out some of the exclusive deals that they've got for you for your next big upgrade, and get yourself some upgrades as well, man. Come on. You guys want to play just like the guys over on the side of Valor as well, right? Them quick headshots. Yep, exactly. You guys can achieve that with the fastest SSD out there in the market and the graphic cards coming out from the side of AMD Ryzen Radeon. So yeah, with that, we pretty much come at the end of the first half of TEC Gauntlet Season 1, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. Amazing match coming out from Valor and INAZUMA. Now, we can't wait to see what Fangs and Enigma Gaming are going to do for the second half, which is going to start at 7:30 p.m. IST. So I'm expecting all of you to see you guys at 7:30 in that specific stream. So don't forget to tune in. Hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already to never miss that update. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the like and share button as well. So thank you so much for tuning in for the first half. We'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Until then, it's your boy Assassin47 signing off with Floki and Aggressive. See you guys tomorrow.